Carol?
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, I know
That's
that,
an
yeah.
Advent Carol. It's probably the best.
Well, we didn't sing that
Lo,
one.
he comes with clouds descending.
Lo, he comes with clouds descending.
They're the best carols of all, really.
Yeah.
I find that the Christmas ones are a bit more...
That's a duet right there, that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was, oh, yeah.
Oh, it's
We're made in
award-winning.
heaven. But, yeah, no, I just wonder if people watching still value the fact that they know their Christmas carols. What really... And Advent carols. What worries me is that a lot of youngsters don't. They're not taught them. They don't have school assemblies where you'd sing them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I went to school, you made sure that the music teacher made sure that every class, when it was coming through from 11 upwards, knew their carols so that they could join in assemblies and everything like that.
Yeah, what you...
They are the best, the Advent carols. But if you've got a favourite one...
Oh, come Emmanuel.
Yes, redeem thy captive
Israel.
Yeah, it goes on like brilliant.
No, that is a nice one. That
Oh, they're
Why
lovely.
wasn't Jennifer joining in?
You're great. Jennifer is with us.
Yes.
Yeah, do you have a favourite carol?
I love the Advent service. Actually, I'm going to one tonight at 6:30.
It's lovely because it's sort of anticipating, and I think Christmas is something that most of us look forward to. So the anticipation, it's like anticipating a holiday or something.
It's a process. It's not the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cliche to say the journey to Christmas, but
it's very ancient. The story is that you know that all the prophets said that wonderful things were going to happen. So the anticipation of it was a wonderful thing. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. If you've got a favourite carol, let us know. And if you're worried, if you've got children or grandchildren who don't know their hymns and carols, what on earth are we meant to do about that?
Well, schools are changing, aren't they? It's not seen as inclusive enough if you do a lot of
I find that
Christmas
very
stuff.
sad.
Yes, I do.
I mean, you can be inclusive in other ways and learn other people's songs for their religious ceremonies. I don't see anything wrong with that. But don't give up on ours.
No, quite right. I was just looking to see if anyone had set any carols in yet, but no.
Oh, Come All Ye Faithful is seen as an Advent carol.
Oh, is it?
Well, you do.
Sue says, Anne, you're looking lovely today.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. For 90. Are you the one who
Might
said
be.
yesterday? You're looking very good for 90.
That's quite a Christmassy top, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It
a
is,
Christmassy
yeah.
pattern.
Well, it's wintry.
Wouldn't, yeah.
Is it Christmassy?
Well, yeah, wintry.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anyway, look, we better crack on because pressure's mounting on the Prime Minister after it emerged that Keir Starmer signed off the Chancellor's so-called black hole tax rate, despite that OBR report, which had a more positive forecast than the Chancellor talked
Yeah,
about.
in fact, it said we had a surplus. So you would have thought, A, she would have claimed credit for that. And B, she wouldn't have had to pile on the taxes like she did. But, you know, she went the way she was going to do anyway, probably. The Conservatives, of course, now have reported the Chancellor to the financial watchdog, urging an investigation into possible market abuse.
Well, the Prime Minister is expected to unveil new plans to tackle the cost of living tomorrow in what many see as an attempt to shift attention from claims that the Chancellor exaggerated the bad state of the economy.
Yeah, voters are now calling for Rachel Reeves to resign, and you could expect all this calls for resignation, but is it that bad? Let's ask Jennifer Powers, who's with us, as you know now. Yeah, I mean, are things really that bad, or is this just everybody over-exaggerating it just to get at Rachel Reeves?
Yeah, I think the next few days are crucial. I mean, she has the traditional television broadcast round today, Sunday, following the budget. There'll most likely be an urgent question in the House. I can't imagine the Speaker, Lindsay Hoyle, not allowing that. I doubt she'll come herself to the Commons. She'll probably send a junior minister, but there's pressure on her to show up in person. So I think it really remains to be seen how the government handles the next few days and whether they just brush it off and continue in their somewhat shambolic approach to leading the country and the public finances, or if she succumbs to that pressure. You know, it's really too early to tell, but it is quite a fall from grace from Wednesday when she was cheered to the rafters by her backbenchers for delivering what was a very classic Labour budget, a high tax, high spend, giving into their demands on the getting rid of the 2-child benefit cap. You know, she was held aloft as this wonderful Labour Chancellor, and how quickly it unravelled.
It's just what I can't get my head round is we've criticised it for the economy being the state it's in, and it turns out the economy has actually been in a slightly better state than we thought it was, and now, of course, she's being criticised for pretending it was worse than it was, which seems like completely the wrong way round.
It is an odd thing. I suppose it's the public finances that were in a slightly better state rather than the economy.
Yeah.
However, yes, it is left us all scratching our heads as to how the Treasury, and in particular Rachel Reeves, managed to get themselves in this situation. You know, did they think no one would notice? I mean, the OBR, as practice, releases this sort of information in due course. So she wouldn't have been able to hide the fact that they had forecast this modest surplus.
But there's
back
obviously a little war breaking out now between the OBR and the Treasury.
There is, and the OBR is, according to its own terms of reference, in the right here in terms of, you know, it is fulfilling its obligations in terms of publishing these forecasts and making them available to the Treasury at certain points of the year. It did this. She chose to ignore it, and no one's calling it a fabrication, but certainly selective briefing around the state of the public finances. And it all for what? To undermine herself? To undermine the Prime Minister?
A lot of them are saying she's been economical with the truth.
Well, very good.
Very good line. Yes, indeed. No, it's perplexing, and it leaves us, you know, it's always this cock-up versus conspiracy. And it just looked like a continuation of a lack of competency at the heart of this government.
It's very odd because we're all saying, you know, perhaps her future would be in doubt, and the Prime Minister's indeed, after the May elections, if they go as badly as is being predicted. It really is looking as though she might not survive till Christmas at this rate.
Well, and in a way, you know, everyone talks about the local elections, and I understand that, but you know, they're not personally they are in terms of, you know, the overall health of the Labour Party and the polls and things. But it's not as if, you know, they're the ones on the ballot paper in May. They're not running, you know, the campaign in Nuneaton or Deepest Kent or wherever. Whereas this, you know, this is the signature piece for the Chancellor. The budget is her, you know, signature piece for the whole year. And she has managed to absolutely undermine her own credibility and cause this backlash. So that's
and we don't know how much.
mishandling.
Well, I think we do now know that Keir Starmer knew all about that.
Well, indeed. I mean, one, he would have been given the forecast, and secondly, as a courtesy, he would have seen the speech that she was going to give. I reckon this is more about the fact that Starmer has not traditionally shown much of an interest in most of the policy portfolio, in the economy. You know, there's quite a lot of chatter around the fact that if you ask him a question about law or, you know, something that's very much in his area of specialism, you know, he becomes animated, he gives you a thoughtful answer right away. But you ask him about something more general about, I don't know, whether it be immigration or whether it be the economy, and he'll have his lines to take, but he doesn't seem to have a real instinct about these issues. He doesn't seem to be across the detail. And so...
You think he's just not a political animal?
Well, I think he's certainly not someone who's schooled in the game of politics, as you say, or the art of politics, but also, you know, doesn't really seem to have a feel for public finances and the economy. And so, you know, I can imagine an instance where he would have just trusted Rachel Reeves and her advisors to prepare the budget as they saw fit, to own the narrative, and was probably quite pleased on Wednesday when, you know, they were cheered to the rafters by the backbenchers. And he's probably feeling, you know, quite confused by why all this has happened.
Yes,
on his watch. You know, what on earth has gone on? And yet here we are with, you know, not one, not two, but three of the front pages majoring on this huge story.
OK. Jennifer, for now, thank you very much indeed. See you later.
It's almost as though no matter what they do, they put their foot in it. Anyway, just a reminder that friends of GB News can vote in today's You Decide poll by scanning the QR code now or going to our website where you'll be able to see it. And we're asking today, would reversing those tax rises restore your faith in the budget? Do let us know. I think I probably know what your answer is going to be.
Oh, it's an interesting question, though. Right, meanwhile, the Chancellor is facing anger from pub and hospitality venues. They've accused her of failing to support the Great British Pub, despite promising major help in the budget on Wednesday.
Yeah, small businesses everywhere are warning that they face soaring business rates after the Chancellor reduced relief far less than legally permitted.
Well, now many fear that some pubs, cafes and shops may not survive beyond April.
Which would be an absolute tragedy, wouldn't it? To explain how he thinks the budget is going to impact Britain's small businesses, founder of the City Pub Group, Clive Watson, joins us now. Morning, Clive.
Morning.
Good to see you. I mean, well, for a start, what did you think of the budget and how do you think it is going to affect you and other businesses from now on?
Well, I thought on Wednesday, as always, it's the devil is the detail, but I thought Wednesday she'd actually got to grips with some kind of rates reform. But as you say, she's taken away the 40% relief, having taken away half of it the previous year. So there was 75% business rates relief for a lot of pubs and restaurants and small shops. That's all gone. So actually rates have gone up, likely to go up 30% in the next 3 years. So on top of the tax hikes last year, this is a massive, massive impact, yet again, by a government that claims to have the interests of hospitality at heart, but clearly doesn't.
So, I mean, look, to give us the detail of that then, in the budget itself, it looked like she was giving you a little bit of a handout, didn't it? I mean, it looked like there was something to cheer about for pubs. But as you say, it's when you look at the detail of what actually she didn't mention at the dispatch box, things have actually gotten worse.
They've got worse because she's taken away the relief that small pubs and shops and restaurants received. So what we all thought was a good move on Wednesday, as you've already said in your programme, once you actually go into the detail, you realise it was I think a 4 billion increase in business rates across small pubs and shops and restaurants. That's a massive hike on top of last year's tax increases as well. And just be honest about it. Don't go to the dispatch box and say, I'm basically the publican's friend or hospitality's friend. Just be honest and say, as a result of my changes, the hospitality sector will be facing massive increases.
Well, it's not as if you haven't faced massive increases and massive problems in the last few years anyway. I mean, you need shoring up, not knocking down, don't you?
Yeah, we've had, in the last sort of 10 years, the Brexit devaluation, which increased the price of imports of food and wine and beer. Then we had COVID, and now we got the Labour government. It's a triple whammy.
How bad is it in real terms for businesses like yours and indeed for small independent pubs? I mean, how we say they're in real danger. How, I mean, really, in real terms, are we going to see the impact up and down our high streets and villages?
Yeah, because if you're an average tenant of a pub company, before the budget changes last year, say you were making, on average, £40,000 to £50,000. You've had the tax increases last year on employment taxes and also removal of some of the business rates relief, plus the big increases in national living wage. And now you've got this removal of all the relief on business rates. So that sort of 50,000, 40, 50,000. It's probably about £10,000 now. Now, why would you get up and work unsociable hours to make, £10,000? She has no interest in the success of hospitality. That's my take on this budget.
But the way pubs and clubs run themselves, the hospitality that's sort of famous in Britain, that's what makes us British, isn't it? And if people vote with their feet and just decide they've had enough and give up, we're going to lose a really important part of our culture, aren't we?
Yeah, look, I saw some friends on Tuesday and one of my friends said, oh, it's great. With Village Pub's being taken over. It's an independent, it's very vibrant and everyone's now going to this pub, and it's great because I've sort of seen people I haven't seen for a while, and in the area, it's fantastic. So it's a really important part of the makeup of British life, really. And if you just squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it, you will eventually kill what traditionally is an important fabric of British society.
Heck.
Well, sad news, depressing news, but let's hope you have a happy Christmas, though, anyway. Is Christmas usually a good time for you?
Yes, good time. No tube strikes, please. That wouldn't like that. So,
absolutely. Don't give anyone any ideas, please.
No,
We've
that's
still
true.
got 3 weeks to go. OK. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Right, at 18 minutes past 6, let's just bring you some breaking news. And we're hearing that 4 people have died, 10 others injured at a shooting at a child's birthday party in Northern California. Now, a spokesperson for the county sheriff's office said children and adults were amongst the victims. It's all we've got at the moment. As we get more details, we will let you know.
Oh dear, what a terrible way to start the first Sunday in Advent. But we will, keep you up to date on everything breaking from that. Let's catch up with the weather now at 19 minutes past 6 with Liam.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Banter office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today at least, we have some nice bright sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, still to come, it's St Andrew's Day, and Scotland is, or should be at least, celebrating in style. Some music, some dancing, and a dram or two. We'll tell you more in a moment.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, it's the first day of Advent. No, it's not.
Yeah, yes, it's
first Sunday of Advent.
Advent Sunday, officially.
Yeah, but it is also the last day of November. And if you're in Scotland, you certainly know what that means. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it in a Scottish accent. Although
it's
I
like
have a
sitting next to Mrs. Doubtfire.
Totally Scottish father who never gave up his accent. So please don't
have a go.
Be too critical.
It's not cultural appropriation because you are technically half Scottish.
I am indeed, absolutely. But and the trouble is, when you start talking about Scotland, certainly when you go, if you're not careful, you start putting it on, and you mustn't do that. You really mustn't.
Oh, I don't know.
It's not acceptable nowadays.
I don't know.
Anyway, the Scots are in party mode for St Andrew's Day. I do hope the weather is good for you.
Yeah, the East Coast Scottish town that shares his name, St Andrew's name, held its annual hoolie yesterday with an all-day bash with singing, dancing and a few whiskies.
I wonder what he would have thought, because actually he was the first disciple, wasn't he, St Andrew?
I don't know.
The first one, I think. And then he travelled all over the world spreading the word. And here he is, and it's his big day in Scotland today. Tony Maguire dropped in to soak up the atmosphere.
At the end of a cold, dark November, Scots raise a glass to their patron saint, St Andrew. In addition to being Scotland's patron, he's associated with singers, sore throats and gout? Well, sounds to me like symptoms of a fantastic party. And that's exactly how this town marks the 30th of November every year. A decade ago, Bid St Andrews was set up to keep the East Coast town buzzing all year long. Georgia Heggie is running the show this year, tasked with making St Andrews shine for every local and visitor.
So the Big Hoolie has really become a highlight in the town's calendar. It gets bigger and bigger every year, which is great. We're really trying to make St Andrew's Day just as big as St Patrick's Day and have everyone celebrating across the country, and we're better to come than the town of the patron saint himself. So.
The hoolie is always well attended by locals, but the big St Andrew's Bash has made quite the impact on some of the 700,000 people who flock here annually, especially those lucky enough to be here today.
Why spend St Andrew's Day in St Andrews?
Because you celebrate it, you know, it's fantastic, you still keep the culture going, and ultimately that's what these events are about.
I really like it. I always come here in summer, but I never had the opportunity to come this day, and I always wanted.
Fantastic.
Love it here.
Brilliant day. People are really friendly, and we've met our new friend here, right? We bought off the main shed, right, which is a great place to buy things.
One of the performers was St Andrews University student Jake Pollock. He's written a few songs about St Andrews, drawing inspiration from the connection he's made to this historic town.
I feel like the town's changed me into a completely different person. Obviously, when I moved here I wasn't into golf at all. Now I'm obsessed. I was a bit manic. Now I've calmed down a bit, like the rest of St Andrews.
The 30th of November is the supposed anniversary of St Andrew's death, crucified on a lopsided cross that later gained his name. 500 years later, that cross became the saltire, Scotland's heraldic flag, and to this day it's waved as a symbol of strong national identity. Don't believe me? Well, just you wait until the World Cup. Tony Maguire, GB News, St Andrews.
Oh, I do hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, enjoy it. It's lovely
Do you know
to be
St Andrew
patriotic.
never made it to Scotland in his lifetime?
Well, he sort of got there.
He got there later because his bones were being transported, apparently, and the ship that his bones were on was wrecked just off the coast of Scotland. So I think his bones got to Scotland, but nobody knows where they are now. But anyway, there you are. You still celebrate St Andrew in a very big way because he was one of the originals.
Yeah, well, I think it's nice to have these moments of patriotism and things. We should do more on St.
And he was
George's
a real person.
Yeah.
We should definitely do more on St George's Day, although St George isn't the same thing. I mean, he wasn't one of Christ's disciples.
No.
Turkish.
He was,
man that slayed a dragon and all that.
Don't dare wave a George cross around.
No. Oh, I know. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there you are. Anyway, have a good St Andrew's Day.
Yes. Well, if you want to celebrate being Scottish or Irish or Welsh or English...
Or just to celebrate.
Oh, just celebrate anyway. Why not take part in the Great British giveaway now? Because you could win our biggest cash prize to date. It's £85,000 in tax-free cash. Could be yours in the new year. It's a heck of a prize. Here's how you enter.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Right, it's 6:30 already. Time now for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
We're here at St Andrews, Wimbledon, the Anglican parish where I am a vicar. I wonder what you know about Andrew the Apostle. His far more famous brother Simon Peter is well known, but on one day, Peter, like Andrew, were invited by Jesus to leave their nets behind. He said, "Come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." That was the day when everything changed for Andrew. Now, a few other times in the gospel stories, Andrew appears again, and each time he's bringing people to Jesus. It's a remarkable thought. Here we are 2,000 years later, thousands of miles away, and we're stood in a building that bears his name, St Andrew's Church, here in Wimbledon. 2.6 billion people now follow the Jesus whom Andrew first met at the Sea of Galilee. This Advent, I do think it's worth reflecting on the millions of people like Andrew who have been bringing people to Jesus all over the world, all with different stories, but all invited to hear that same call, "Come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." I, for one, have found that to be the most consequential decision of my life.
I like that. I like that, fishers of men. Ironic, then, that he was shipwrecked, or his bones were shipwrecked off the coast of Scotland.
Oh.
But let's not go there.
No.
Yeah.
If that's all true.
Yeah, you don't know, do you?
You don't know.
It was all a long time ago.
And ancient relics and all the rest of it. It's very difficult to know, but it's the messaging that matters.
Apparently, at some point, the Pope said, all right, you missed out on those relics, here are some more.
Oh.
That doesn't ring true either, does it, somehow?
No, don't think so. Anyway, what will ring true is all the sports news. Aidan's here with an update in just a moment.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Presenter and businessman Jeff Banks joins us this afternoon. Jeff, so good to see you. Your piece on X was quite sensational. Can you tell people what you said? Because some people, X went down a little while ago. Some people may not have seen it. Can you give us a summary of what you said?
Yes, last August, I got a letter saying that I hadn't got a BBC licence. And I wrote back and I said, I've not watched BBC television for a couple of years now. I don't listen to BBC radio, and therefore I don't want a licence, and I'm not prepared to pay for one. I then got quite a reasonable letter back acknowledging that, to say that it had been noted that my premises no longer required a BBC licence. Then about a month after that, I started getting the first of a threatening letter that I didn't have a licence and that if I continued without one, I possibly could actually face a fine of £1,000. Then I got another one, and then another one. And then finally last week, I got the fifth, which actually not only was threatening the fine of £1,000, but actually saying I was now on a list that meant an inspector would be likely to actually call on me. And at that point, I felt that that was harassment. So I then wrote back to the BBC and said that you're now, in my opinion, harassing me. Either you stop doing that and desist, or I'll have no alternative to actually put it in the hands of my lawyers and they can actually fight the battle.
GB News.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Time for the sports news now. Aidan McGee is here. We're having to learn how to say some of these names. There's some wonderful names. Well, we were going to talk about, when we talk about football, Gianluigi Donnarumma.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And he should be known to an English audience as well because he saved about 3 penalties, I think it was, in the Euro 2020 final.
What a lovely name.
Played a year later. In trouble yesterday, though.
Oh, all right.
Well, he was accused of time wasting. I'll come to that later.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the F1.
Lando Norris.
And
Lando Norris.
Perfect.
Because he's English.
And, true. And Max Verstappen. There are some wonderful names we have to struggle with nowadays.
Yeah, I know. But look, Lando Norris is... It doesn't all come down to today, because he can win the title next week as well in Brazil. But today...
Could seal it today.
Yeah, if he wins it, that's at least he's got a clear direction of what he has to do. He has to win today, and he wins the title. Now, he's not in perfect form because he didn't qualify on pole yesterday. He was expecting to do that, and that would have been giving him a significantly better chance today. But he's gone in second behind Oscar Piastri's teammate with McLaren. Max Verstappen qualified in third. Now, he's had a few things to deal with. We had the technical infringement last week, which denied him second place and all those points in the last week's event. And then this week we've seen problems in qualifying. He finished, I think, third in the sprint race as well. He picked up some points there. Then he's had the criticism from Max Verstappen as well, saying that if I was in your car, I'd have won this race long ago. He's hit back as well, showing he's got a bit of metal about him by saying that the guy's talking nonsense. And this is an interesting one. His team principal has described Max Verstappen as one of those horrible Bond villains. Which, from a horror movie or something, yeah, that's what he said. I'll get the exact quote later on. But it's all boiling up today. But at least he has a clear directive. He knows he has to win. All right. See how he gets on. 6 o'clock today, 6 o'clock later.
Let's talk about Gianluigi, should we? Because he's been accused of feigning injury.
Yeah, so what happened was... Man City were tipped to rack up a cricket score against Leeds United. They went 2-0 up quite soon into the game. In fact, they were 1 goal up inside a minute. And then Leeds sort of got some confidence. I mean, the anticipation was, or the expectation was that they'd lose 5-0 and their manager would be sacked, Daniel Farke. But they got some confidence in somewhere. They got the game back to 2-2. And afterwards, the Leeds United manager, Daniel Farke, said that on 60 minutes, Gianluigi Donnarumma feigned an injury so that Pep Guardiola could get onto the pitch and get a team talk with his players. So that's not against the rules, but it's against the spirit of the rules. Now, if this was an outfield player, he would have to go off and have treatment while the game goes on. If it's a goalkeeper, you can't do that, because if you remove the goalkeeper, you're playing with the dynamics of the game, and it can't be done. So it's very, very clever use of the rules by a very experienced guy in Pep Guardiola. Daniel Farke actually said to the referee, he said, "What's going on here? This is ridiculous. You can all see what's going on."
I was going to say, did he feign this injury in a dramatic way?
I wouldn't say dramatic. You don't have to be dramatic. You just have to signal to the referee, you know, I've got a problem with this or whatever. Now you can't, you know, really drill down into somebody's source of pain. You have to just accept what they say, don't you, at face value. But Daniel Farke says to the referee at the side of the pitch, you know, we can all see what's going on here. You know, this is wrong, because Leeds were pushing for a winner at this point, and it disturbed their momentum. And the referee said, look, and the assistant referee said, look, yeah, we can kind of guess what's going on, but under the letter of the law, we cannot do anything about it. Daniel Farke afterwards called for a change in the rules. He said something has to change here, because, lo and behold, despite dominating the game from there onwards, Leeds didn't win the game. They lost 3-2.
So it didn't work if it was a feign?
No, it did work. He's saying it did work because Man City went on to win the game. Look, it's a bit of luck.
Yes,
you suffer that kind of bad luck when you're at the bottom of the league, or near the bottom of the league, and it didn't do Leeds any favour yesterday. But yeah, a little bit of a gamesmanship by Gianluigi Donnarumma.
All right, let's have a very quick look at the cricket, should we?
Yes, a bit of
bad news for Mark Wood.
Yeah, it was bad news for Mark Wood. Look, you know, having had a bit of a boost yesterday with Pat Cummins not available for the second test. We know that Josh Hazlewood isn't available either for Australia. England's fast bowler Mark Wood has suffered a slight recurrence of a knee injury. He wasn't exactly in vintage form, to be honest, in the first test. So I'm not sure how much of a big miss this will be, although I'm told he has been an outstanding player in the past, and he's a big personality as well. So it's a bit of a blow for England, but still lots to do, even whether he's included or not. There's a hell of a lot to do in that second test starting in Brisbane on Thursday.
All right, Aidan, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you later.
And do stay with us. It's 20 to 7 already, because still to come, we're going to be hearing some of today's top stories in our paper review with Emma and Lewis. We're there, getting ready. First of all, though, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here is the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, and this is your holiday forecast from the Met Office. It's a little bit changeable across Europe over the next week or so. We do have a few showers across the Canary Islands to begin with, but some nice bright sunshine for Spain, maybe just feeling a little bit cooler than normal here. For northern Italy, we do have some heavier showers to begin with, and we do have some nice bright sunnier spells for Greece. Now, it does remain a bit unchangeable over the next few days, but for Tenerife, the temperatures are slowly on the rise.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie's here with GB News, Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Right, time for the papers with the broadcaster Lewis Oakley and the author and political commentator Ms. Emma Wolfe. Good morning to you both.
Yeah, my goodness, there's a lot to talk about today. Lewis, you've been looking at the Mail, who are really conducting a bit of a... Is it a witch hunt against Rachel Reid? I mean, they're just so nasty about her, aren't they?
They really do want her gone,
or are they justified?
Well, look, at the end of the day, their readers want her gone. They actually did. So there's two polls they're talking about. They had one on the website yesterday that 97% of the readers, 80,000 people, voted in it. They want her gone. They did an actual proper poll where 68% think it's time for her to go over this black hole fib, or whatever you want to call it. What do they say? Economical with the truth? I mean, look, I think... I can't see her going. I know everyone kind of is like, she's going to go. My thing is, the only path to her going, really, is she decides to step down, which I don't think she's going to do, or Keir Starmer says, see you later, which he's not going to do, because if a Chancellor goes, the Prime Minister's never far behind. So I don't really see the path to her leaving.
Well, unless it does become the point where she has to go because it is simply untenable for her to carry on.
Potentially, but, I mean, we're so far in with this Labour government now where there's so many things that they've lied about, so many scandals that we've had, and it's only sort of 18 months in. I don't know whether the British public are just sort of thinking, well, this is just factored in now. We just sort of expect that they lie.
I have to say, I'm amazed that you're talking about it as though it's a witch hunt. I mean, this is really, really serious, what has happened. This isn't about fibs or white lies. This is very, very clear. The OBR report had come out showing that there wasn't this black hole. That's all we've heard about in the chaotic months leading up, well, for more longer than that, leading up to the budget, all we heard about was the black hole. We now know that that isn't true, and that this was, you know, as you say, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister are very, they're inextricably tied, aren't they? So Starmer is also looking uncertain at the moment. But, I mean, you know, Mel Stride has now asked for Rachel Reeves to be investigated by the Financial Conduct Authority. This is potentially a civil offence to mislead in the pre-budget statements in that way.
If she has abused the market abuse, as it's known, then, I mean, that actually really is very serious.
This is very, very serious. So I think the next few days are going to be critical. This isn't... No, but I'm just objecting to this kind of idea. It's across the papers. You know, the other headline, you've got the Telegraph there, but the other headline in the Times is something about Starmer knew about the black hole lies plot as well.
I totally understand what you're saying.
With the public
you're not incorrect. I'm just saying, and maybe this is just me, it's just factored in now. Like, I'm just beyond the idea that these politicians are ever going to be held to account on anything. I mean, just look at what was not in that manifesto. We've had the 2-child cap lifted, the Chagos Island sold off, digital ID, no jury trial. and there just seems to be no way to hold them to account.
I agree.
So the idea that, oh, well, this is the golden bullet, this will get her.
I agree, but I think people are really angry about this. I think because it's a knock-on. It's this thing about the black hole to justify the tax rises when everyone is going, hang on a minute, I'm having to work more and pay more taxes, and they've got the thing about benefits as well.
Well, I was going to say, the thing is, the idea is raising taxes to pay for more benefits, which ties in with the Sunday Telegraph, Emma, where it's claiming a new study shows that working families are £18,000 poorer than jobless families.
Yeah, and this is also front of the Express. Families need wages of £71,000, the equivalent of a family of three. So they're talking about hard-working families of three would need to earn £71,000, both of them working, in order to equal what a family at the same level could claim in benefits every year. And so I think people are really feeling that hit.
Living next door to each other in the street, and one was totally non-working and the other one's hard-working parents. And how many children are you meant to have in this particular family?
So this is one parent claiming average rates of universal credit, housing and health benefits, and receiving £46,000 in the next year or so. And so the other people would have to be working and earning that money, basically. It's a basic equation where they're working and earning it and paying their taxes, and someone else is getting it for free.
So why
of
would
the
you
equivalent.
work if you don't have to?
It's easier not to, exactly. That's what they're...
It's definitely an issue. my feeling on this is sort of going the other way, is that, you know, if these are the benefits people are being given, if the government is saying this is what you need to live, it's not about, well, we need to take that money away. It's more, well, why is working not paying more? And it's a cost of living argument. And even... for my sins, Reform government is saying, actually, we need to start people paying tax higher up as they go. That actually, if you're going to stop this, you probably say, look, let's not tax them until they're earning 20k or something like that,
but you need
so that people actually see the benefit of working.
There is that, but there's also the feeling that people are getting a lot for absolutely nothing. I agree with you. Everybody feels that, you know, their wages just are not going up, that they're not.
I think if you probably I don't know, but I think if you probably spoke to most people on benefits, they wouldn't say we're living the life of Riley. They'd probably say we're just about getting by on what we've got.
That's what most working people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, and what I'm saying is that if you're working, this is why I'm saying, well, maybe we should not be taxing people who are sort of in this in-between phase where you're like, oh, actually, I'd be better off on benefits, because that is a real problem, but how do we fix it?
It exacerbates it. The big issue with benefits is not... I mean, I know plenty of people on benefits, and they deserve benefits, and they're very, including in my family, very seriously disabled, and have been for a very long time, and they need a lot of help.
Exactly.
That's not a problem. I say give them more money.
It's when you see...
It's when you see people claiming benefits who should be out working.
Yeah, working-age families, you know, mums... And we've seen a lot of these videos circulating on social media recently. People sitting in very comfortable homes with wide... You know, all of the clichés. You know, with flat-screen TVs, talking about having an extra bit of money for their large families. I know so many couples that are saying, I can't afford more children because they're cutting their cloth according to what they can actually pay for.
100%. What I'm saying is that's a different argument, though.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
What you're saying is that people that shouldn't be on benefits are getting benefits. And so we could look at, OK, well, how do we tighten that up? How do we encourage people to go back into work? But sort of this argument of, oh, I'd be better off on benefits, I think that that's a different solution.
But they're not separate, because wages are going up. In this budget, it looks like, taxes are going up to fund welfare Britain. And that's not my phrase, that's what, you know, people are talking about. They're going up in order to fund all this, because people are getting a lot. And there's also the fact that at this time of year, especially with the colder weather, but people see energy bills going through the roof, water bills through the roof, and food prices, things that aren't, you know, they're not luxuries, they are just the basics. And I think there's a sense that actually politicians, senior politicians, the Chancellor, the Prime Minister, don't understand how hard it is in terms of the cost of living, that they use that phrase all the time, and I'm not sure they actually get it, what people are really struggling with.
Well, let's hope they do.
Working people.
That's my thing with all of this, is the cost of living needs to come down. They're given this amount of benefits because of the cost of living is so high. If we could bring the cost of living down, you wouldn't have to give them as much, and people that are working would feel the benefit more.
No,
the economy to grow for that.
You need to sort out the
How
economy.
are we going to do that?
But they're given this many benefits because it's far too easy to claim this and claim that and claim everything.
Yeah.
That's not to do with the cost of living. They're giving that because young people are literally starting out on a life where they're on universal credit.
I'm not here, like, championing Benefits Britain. I don't want that. I think that people should have jobs. As you know, I've got about 5 different jobs, so maybe I need to give some away. But I don't... I just sometimes think when we look at these bills, we look at the money, it's kind of like, well, why are they getting that money? It's like, that's just what it costs. Unfortunately, it shouldn't cost that.
It's also about the health of the people involved. It doesn't do anyone any good to sit at home claiming benefits.
Exactly. Especially young people. It's not.
But you see, I don't think... I mean, I get your point of saying we're looking at saying why they're getting this money. But the point is, if you know someone is in a position where they are unable to work, you don't look at them and say, why are they getting this money?
Of course you don't, exactly.
The unfairness is that you look at people and you think, well, why are they getting this money when they seem perfectly capable of working?
Absolutely. And we have many jobs that aren't filled, and we haven't mentioned it because it sounds unfair, but we do have an immigration issue in this country. We do. I mean, I cycled past this job centre near us the other day, and almost everybody outside was foreign, going in, signing on for their universal credit, and I thought, gosh... You know, this country is giving away a lot, and it's hard to talk about that without sounding
I think we need some more stringent controls on who gets money.
Yeah.
All right, you two, thank you very much indeed. Oh, that was quite fiery for this first hour.
It's very early in the morning.
But we will see them a little bit later on for more of the same.
Apparently, we're turning into a nation of early birds. So here's the weather for you, if you're up and about.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Banter office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today, at least, we have some nice, bright, sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless.
I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good morning. Crunch time for the Prime Minister as he tries to rescue the Chancellor's budget and tackle the cost of living crisis.
And that all follows revelations that he signed off on Rachel Reeves's tax-raising budget. He knew about the fact that there was no black hole, despite that positive forecast from the OBR that actually there was a surfeit.
Yeah, well, now pressure is mounting on the Chancellor to resign.
And so, as the country reels from the budget fallout, we are speaking to farmers to find out how the latest measures are sowing seeds of trouble for them.
There's breaking news this morning. We know that 4 people have died, 10 others injured after a shooting at a child's birthday party in California. Police say the suspect is still at large.
She said to them, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll be there on Wednesday, I'll be there next year, and I'll be back the year after that. God help us. She is spineless, shameless, and completely aimless.
Well, is it Kemi's comeback? Conservatives have risen to their highest poll rating since March after Kemi Badenoch's furious and fiery Commons attack on Reeves's budget. So is this the start of a Tory revival?
And Christmas is nearly upon us. Today marks Advent Sunday, the start of the season when Christians prepare to celebrate the birth of Christ.
And it's also St Andrew's Day. Scotland is celebrating its patron saint with a full day of singing and dancing and probably a wee whiskey or two.
I'll try everything to win in Qatar, says Lando Norris, who can win a maiden World Drivers' Championship today if he can hold off rivals Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. It was a thrilling day too of Premier League action, but all eyes on Stamford Bridge this afternoon as Chelsea host Arsenal in a top-of-the-table clash.
Hello there. It's going to be a nice and bright end towards the weekend, but as we head into the new working week, things will start to turn a little bit more unsettled. Join me for all the latest.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
And I'm Anne Diamond, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I should just say, you might have just heard the Jennifer Powers talking at the very, very top of that. We were discussing all things washing. And then Aidan was discussing in the break about, you know, you've got to get your washing dried reasonably quickly or it starts smelling mouldy. And that somehow turned into the smell of teenage boys.
Yes.
And I have to say, as a teenage boy, I never, not currently, I wasn't aware of the smell, or my brother's smell. He's a couple of years older than me. But when my nephew was a teenager, good.
It is astounding.
You just outed him on telly as...
What, my teenager? What, my nephew?
No, I mean...
He's 25 now. Yeah. He's a father himself now.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He'll learn.
But honestly, the teenage boys at that age do stink.
Yeah, I never had girls, but apparently my sister has girls. It is boys that have that particular problem. It's obviously...
I was fine.
With 4.
I know. It was a never-ending... Well, I was doing the washing all the time. Washing all the time and lecturing them about changing the bedding and everything like that. But you just beg that, hope and pray that they grow out of it, which they do, actually. Yeah. Nothing like a stint in the army that teaches them.
Well, yes. But it's not... I mean, it's the pheromones and hormones and all that, isn't it? So you can't actually stop it.
No. And it's not fair to be too unkind about it, but you just have to have a routine. But, I mean, the reason we got onto that is because your Sunday routine involves doing the washing.
I do the washing, so I'll have a little nap when I get home, and then it's up, and then sort the washing into piles, and then on with the washing machine.
I tell you what you said that makes me very jealous, because you have an airing cupboard.
Yes.
Now, I've had airing cupboards before, and they are the most wonderful thing. And when they build modern houses nowadays, and I've got a pretty modernised house, it's got no airing cupboard.
No.
Although there's a cupboard there begging to be an airing cupboard.
We need to get someone in to transform it.
Yes, because it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Have you got an airing cupboard?
Where the big water tank is?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but you don't have a big water tank nowadays if you have a combi boiler.
Oh, see, I've got a big water tank.
Yeah, I want a big water tank so that I can have a power shower as well as an airing cupboard.
You see, interesting, when we changed the boiler, I remember the electrician, the gas engineer, rather, saying, and he worked for British Gas, saying, whatever you do, don't get a combi boiler. He said because they break down. We spend more time repairing combi boilers than anything else because they break down much more frequently.
Touch wood. I was going to say mine hasn't broken down.
So I just went on his advice, basically. He's the expert.
But you've got to have bigger pipes if you're going to feed an immersion tank.
Oh, do you?
And everything, yeah.
Oh.
And a combi boiler takes slightly smaller pipes.
I remember the immersion heater.
Job. Sorry?
Remember the immersion heater? We put that on if we just really wanted a quick burst of hot water, and my dad would go mad.
Very expensive. They were expensive.
Yeah. I'd end up in a head
There is nothing like a really good airing cupboard, as long as you fold things properly.
Yeah, you've got to fold them, put them in, and it only takes 24 hours.
And you do all that on a Sunday afternoon?
Yeah.
It was that and using the phone before 6. That would get his goat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had a little money box by the phone.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah, you had to put... If you used the phone, you had to put coins in. Yeah.
We had a payphone. At work.
We had a party line with next door. Isn't that odd?
A party line?
Yeah, you picked up the phone and somebody else was talking on it. Next door were using it, so you just put it down. And...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
some of Keir Starmer's backbenchers need to start turning the party line, don't they?
This is going back
a segue for you.
Yeah, thanks. It didn't quite work, that one. But it's a good effort.
Yeah, I know. I'll keep trying.
Emma's already been in touch saying, I've got an airing cupboard, Anne, but it's got a radiator in it, and that's
perfect.
fantastic. Yeah, you get one of those low energy radiators.
Wonderful.
That's today's project, maybe.
There you go. Get a carpenter around this afternoon. Right, our top story is pressure is mounting on the Prime Minister after it emerged that Keir Starmer signed off on the Chancellor's so-called black hole tax raid, despite an OBR report basically saying there wasn't much of a black hole.
Yes, the Conservatives have now reported the Chancellor to the financial watchdog. They really want an investigation into what they call possible market abuse.
Well, the Prime Minister is expected to unveil new plans to tackle the cost of living crisis tomorrow. Is that an attempt to shift attention away from the economy?
And lots of commentators in the press this morning and voters are now calling for Rachel Reeves to resign. But will she? Is she likely to?
Let's talk to political commentator Jennifer Powers. First of all, I think you've got to say, haven't you, the Prime Minister tackling the cost of living crisis, we can't criticise him for that, because it needs to be tackled, but it's just whether they're off the back of the budget, which seems to be complete chaos, before and after.
Look, I mean, this is so typical Keir Starmer, isn't it, to have such a disjointed strategy whereby the budget doesn't really talk about growth, despite the fact that they've been talking about growth as their highest priority since they got in office nearly a year and a half ago. The budget doesn't really do much to address the cost of living. In fact, it's going to put the cost of living up for quite a few people. And now, on the Monday after the budget, he's going to do a speech about the cost of living. I mean, as you said, in and of these things are all great, but there's just no through line. There doesn't seem to be any coherence to what the government is doing or what it's trying to communicate to the public. So I feel like he's going to get, quite rightly, he's going to get a lot of questioning on the back of that speech, as is the Chancellor.
What I don't understand with this is, and I know there's a lot of criticism of Rachel Reeves, but she's not a stupid woman, and the Prime Minister is not a stupid man. These are both, educated, clever people compared to most of us.
And successful.
Successful.
Got to the top of their business.
So why can they not join the dots?
Oh, goodness. That's actually quite an existential question there, in the sense that, why do we have political leaders that are not up to the challenge? Not just this government, but going back years.
Well, a lot of clever people don't have any common sense. Is that it?
Well, I think it's part of it. I think, I was disappointed by the budget, not for any partisan reasons, but because the country is facing such huge challenges, whether that be demographic change, whether it be the huge debt that is, impoverishing, future generations. The fact that our public services are creaking and don't deliver very good public services, despite the high taxes we pay. And I really felt like the budget was just this missed opportunity to really tackle any of those problems with any sort of purpose. It just seemed as a way to keep Rachel Reeves in power and Keir Starmer in power. It was how to keep the backbenchers happy, as opposed to what does the country need. So it was very much party above country. It was short-term rather than long-term. It was done for their own benefits, their own self-interest of keeping their jobs.
Which is exactly what they campaigned on the opposite of, if that's the right way of putting it.
Yeah.
They said, Keir Starmer said he would always put country before party. And demonstrably, he seems to have done the opposite.
Yeah.
And so many of those promises have not been kept, or at least they seem very dishonest about it.
Well, and the irony is that back in 2023, Rachel Reeves went on the attack saying that, Labour would really respect the independence of the OBR, was very critical of the way Liz Truss had dismissed the OBR in her mini-budget in 2022. And Labour came good on their promise. They actually introduced a charter at the beginning of this year saying that it was mandatory for the OBR to do an assessment of any government budget. So she very much put the OBR on a pedestal and said, Labour's going to treat it with the respect it deserves. And then now there's this open warfare between the OBR and the Treasury. There'd been tensions simmering for months. The government was really annoyed that the OBR, they claimed, was too pessimistic about the economic outlook. And then now this huge back and forth around this forecast for September.
They were very critical, for instance, of Liz Truss for not consulting the OBR. And here they are, obviously ignoring the OBR, and actually now it seems sort of in open war with the OBR.
Well, they
themselves
mischaracterizing or the sin of omission of not being upfront with the public about the fact that, as you said earlier, there was this £4 billion surplus projection in the public finances. All it seems to lay the groundwork for higher taxes to pay for higher welfare spending, which, is a choice. That is one of the choices she could make. But it really gave us all the impression that this was forced upon her and she was doing the responsible thing to put up taxes by... Just think, since the election, Labour government has put up taxes by $66 billion. That's a huge, huge amount. Not everyone has felt it. It's felt disproportionately on some groups of people. But I do note, speaking very self-interestedly, that my cost of my Uber to come in this morning will go up by 20% because...
20%?
Is that right? VAT, they're putting VAT on private hire vehicles. So this is my own personal... I know the audience has no need to feel sympathetic.
But lots of people use taxis.
But, it's funny, you take it to get to work when public transport, isn't functioning at 4 or 5 in the morning. So it does affect some people. So there's all these little things that come in that it's only when it hits you in real life that you think, oh, ouch, there's another hit to my pocketbook. So these were her choices, and she made it look as if she was forced into it, when in fact they were things she wanted to do.
No, but then in a way, why shy away from the idea that they're actually a typical Labour government, higher taxes, higher welfare bill, which is what every Labour government's done. Well, maybe excluding New Labour. But every other Labour government has done that.
Well, and New Labour and Tony Blair was different in that, he inherited a much better economic picture than Reeves has, but he managed to get growth in the economy and sustain that growth over a period of time. So, that made him an aberration, I suppose. So, this should be an interesting few days. Reeves will be in the hot seat. Keir Starmer may as well. And this government continues to careen from chaos to chaos, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is, honestly. All right, Jennifer, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you later.
Yeah, which makes you wonder, would you put any money on Rachel Reeves still being Chancellor by Christmas? Well, friends of GB News can vote in today's You Decide poll by scanning the QR code that you can see now, or you go to the website and it'll be on that. We're asking, would reversing the tax rises restore your faith in this budget? At the moment, 7% of you are saying yes, 93%. 93 are saying no.
Yeah, so ignore the graphic if you saw it on your screen.
Oh,
we'd missed out the 9.
Oh.
We'd missed out the 9, but 93%.
Okay.
So, well, this is the trouble, because it's about faith. It's about consumer confidence, public confidence, business confidence in any government, isn't it? And that just doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
It's not going to happen either anyway. They're not going to reverse it, are they? I think they're just going to try and stick it out.
I do look at this. I mean, politicians are a different breed to the rest of us, but why would you want to be facing this sort of crisis and this sort of criticism? Why would you want to be Keir Starmer or Rachel Reeves at the moment? It must be a nightmare every time you put your foot out the door.
Yeah, it must be awful. But they seem to want the jobs, don't they?
Yeah, desperate.
They certainly want to hang on to them. Tell you what they wouldn't want is to be a farmer at the moment. Farmers received a modest boost in the budget, you could argue, including a transferable £1 million inheritance tax relief.
Yeah, but many in the sector say the measure fails to address rising costs and long-term financial pressures.
President of the NFU, Tom Bradshaw, joins us now. And a very good morning to you, Tom. I mean, overall, what was your feeling about the budget? Is there much of a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for you?
No, it was a massively missed opportunity to try and boost growth, to try and boost investment in our farming and food production that could really deliver the long-term resilience that the country needs to feed 70 million people. So huge missed opportunity there. Clearly, there was a slight amendment to the inheritance tax. It goes nowhere near far enough to try and safeguard the future of many family farms. But if you are one of those farms where you'd already lost your spouse, then the change could be quite significant for you personally. But as an industry, it just doesn't go far enough.
Why is it that farmers have come under all this pressure, do you think, from this government? Because when you look at all the extra stuff that you're going to have to pay out, inheritance being the key issue, it doesn't actually raise that much money. So it almost seems a pointless exercise attacking our farmers.
Well, it does now feel like it's quite a deliberate attack, and that's the bit that's much more difficult to overcome. Clearly, there's been a policy choice made to impose the inheritance tax plans. They keep on telling us how generous it is and that we're only paying half the rate. The really big challenge, as I'm sure all of your listeners have heard many, many times, is that they're taxing business assets as though they're personal wealth. And those business assets that produce the country's food produce a very measly return of less than 1%. And what we've said to government is, look, we don't agree with the inheritance tax changes, but if you're going to do it, how about you tax it after the farm is sold rather than on inheritance tax? So that when that paper wealth becomes a real asset in your bank account, tax us then. But many of our members just don't have access to the cash to pay the inheritance tax bills. And we're still so worried about the elderly and terminally ill. They're absolutely trapped in the eye of this pernicious storm. There's a cliff edge at the end of March next year, and the government have done absolutely nothing to address that. And we're urging the government to show some compassion, to show some humanity, and to try and safeguard the future of those individuals and their farms.
And to understand the way you make your livelihoods, the fact that you need enormously expensive equipment, you need land, which has to be judged in a different way than most of us have bits of land with our little houses on top. I mean, they don't seem to understand or even want to understand your way of life. You drive your tractors into London, or any of the city centres actually, to make a big protest, and you get arrested.
I know the sight of farmers being arrested in London it's an awful sight, and it's something that we're trying to get clarity from the Met Police as to what were the causes in the change to their attitude. Was it a purely operational decision? And we really do need that detail to understand why those plans had to change at the 11th hour. Because over the last year, the Met Police have been incredibly supportive. So trying to understand what happened there is really important. But you can see how angry and frustrated the farming industry is because of the changes that the government have put in place. And look, we've got 70 million people living on an island here at a time of huge geopolitical uncertainty, at a time where climate change is impacting food production around the world. And farmers need to invest for the future. And at the moment, there is nothing to incentivize that investment. It's quite the opposite. So many people are saying, why are we going to increase the value of our farm when we're now going to have to pay inheritance tax? So that's where there was the huge missed opportunity. But then things like the national living wage, it's adding to the cost of food production. And you'll hear about food price inflation and the way that government are trying to do everything they can to try and minimize food price inflation. But so much government policy is driving that up at the moment. And none of that stays in the farmer's pocket. It's got to go to the retail shelf edge because farmers cannot absorb those cost increases. But all it's doing is driving food inflation with no better returns to the primary producer.
You see, what you've been talking about a lot this morning, Tom, and it's understandable because you represent these people, right? And you're talking about, impact on individual families, a sense of humanity, and understanding what farmers do and all that. And that's absolutely right, Obviously, we can't dispute any of that. But why then does the government, if they're not listening to that, why don't they listen to the argument about food security in this country? Why don't they take a wider perspective and say we need food security and what we're doing is damaging that?
Well, I think the really big challenge here is for the family farm, which may only be half of the land farm. The corporations, the charities, they're never going to end up paying the inheritance tax. And that's where it's so unfair that they've decided the group of people that are family businesses are the ones that should be paying the tax. The multinationals, the corporations, the listed companies are never going to be paying this tax. And it just seems so misguided to have attacked family business in the way that this government have done. Because, yes, I'm here to represent agriculture, but with the changes to BPR, business property relief, it's all of family business that is being targeted. And yet they're the lifeblood of the local economy and the rural economy. The heritage, the culture that's at the heart of some of our most iconic landscapes is farming. And yet they're now being targeted with a tax which is simply unaffordable.
OK. Tom Bradshaw from the NFU, thank you very much indeed. Tom makes a good point. I mean, it's right that we focus on farmers, but it is any family business that cannot now be passed down to the next generation who maybe have been brought in it from an early age and they're working through and when the parents die... To have a business,
you need assets, don't you?
Yeah, but the whole...
And to be punished for those assets, which is the only way you can run your business. And it's not only farming like that, but then isn't that crazy? Because it's just going to stop people from continuing businesses.
I mean, any corner shop.
Yes, exactly.
You're not going to just be able to pass it down to your kids to run. I mean, it's very hard. It's very, very hard. And they do say these small businesses and farms fall into that, are the lifeblood of our economy. And they're just going to have to be sold, basically, or fold. Anyway, look, a Treasury spokesperson has said our inheritance tax changes protect public services while keeping it fair. 3/4 of farm estates will pay nothing. The rest pay half the usual rate, spread over 10 years, interest-free.
Breaks it down neatly, doesn't it? Right, 7:21, let's give you an update on this breaking news. 4 people have died, 10 others have been injured following a shooting at a child's birthday party in Northern California.
Yeah, a spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office said children and adults were amongst the victims.
And the scary thing as well is that, according to police, the suspect is still at large. Officers are yet to disclose the attacker's identity, the motive unclear at the moment.
The Governor for California, Gavin Newsom, has called it horrific and is, of course, being kept abreast of any developments. We'll bring you all we can as we get those details through.
Right now, back here at home, let's find out what the weather has in store for us with Leah Meslick.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Banter office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today, at least, we have some nice, bright, sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
How do you fancy starting 2026 with £85,000 in your bank account, all tax-free? It could be yours in our biggest ever cash giveaway. If you fancy that, here's how you enter.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, still to come, the Tories are climbing up the polls. I don't think very far, but...
Well, a little bit.
It's the first time they've gone up for a long time. This all comes, of course, after Kemi Badenoch's performance during the budget. Can she really turn things around now? Does it give you any sort of confidence in a revival of fortune for the Conservatives? We'll be debating that next.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
And all the way around it, there's going to be 1 million bricks with 1 million answered prayers, so people can take their smartphones, scan a prayer, and see how it was answered. I'm joined now by Richard Gamble. You're the founder of this project. Just tell us about it and what inspired you.
So the concept is we want to bring hope to people, and anyone coming will be able to point their phone at any one of the bricks, and their phone will light up and tell them the story of answered prayer. And God spoke to me about this 21 years ago, so it's been a roller coaster journey. So it's just a real thrill today that we can get started, and we want to proclaim to the nation that Jesus is alive, he listens, and he answers our prayers.
And how important do you think this is now in this day and age?
Well, I mean, one of the things that we're doing is we're not just collecting the answered prayers from now, but from all of history. So we want to preserve the Christian heritage of the nation and get schools and colleges to come and visit and find out all the stories of what God's done through our history. And I think particularly now that's more important than ever.
And you didn't want it to look like a religious monument as such, like Christ the Redeemer?
Yeah, when we ran a global competition with the Royal Institute of British Architects, we didn't want it to have the Christian iconography. We wanted to be a stunning structural design that basically encourages people to come along, have a look, and when they come they'll be able to see all these tiny bricks on it and realise how big a million is. And I hope as a piece of art that's going to inspire millions of people to think about praying.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Yes, 7:29 already this morning. Now, the Conservatives have risen in popularity to their highest poll rating since March.
I don't think it's very high, though. I'm trying to find out how many points they actually gained. But anyway, it's all after Kemi Badenoch's fiery Commons attack on the Chancellor's budget.
Yeah, let's have a listen to some of the best bits.
I congratulate the Right Honourable Lady on delivering her second budget. I hope she enjoyed it, because it really should be her last. Yeah! At the last budget, she said she was proud to be the country's first ever female Chancellor. After this budget, she will go down as the country's worst ever Chancellor. It tells you everything you need to know about her grip on the Treasury, and if she doesn't resign for breaking her promises, she should sure as hell go for this. Yeah! What did the Chancellor think would happen when she went on breakfast telly to do an emergency public service announcement? I interrupt your Cheerios to bring you this frightening message about income tax. She's talking to the Chancellor. Is he mansplaining to you, by the way? Is he mansplaining? Do you want some help? Would you like some help? All we've had is wallowing in self-pity and whining about misogyny and mansplaining. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, let me explain to the Chancellor, woman to woman. People out there aren't complaining because she's female. They're complaining because she is utterly incompetent. Yeah! She said to them, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll be there on Wednesday, I'll be there next year, and I'll be back the year after that. God help us. She is spineless, shameless, and completely aimless.
Well, she was on fire.
She summoned her inner Thatcher, didn't she?
I mean, she really did go for it. Let's talk to political commentator Matthew Stadlen and former Conservative MP Anna Firth. Let's start with you, Anna, on all of it. You're smiling away. Is this what we should be getting from the Leader of the Opposition?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Kemi's had a very good week.
But actually, I've noticed the change on the doorsteps since her devastating conference speech last month. That was really the game changer. And it's a lot more positive for the Conservatives when you're actually on the doorsteps than the media would like you to believe. And yesterday, somebody said something really interesting. They said, look, not only did we like her performance, and she stood up for us in the Commons this week, we don't think we have seen the best of Kemi Badenoch yet. So that to me shows not only is she cutting through, but people are appreciating she's found her feet, she's found her voice, she's got her values, but there's a lot more to come. So yes, I do think that the recovery has started, and I'm much looking forward to seeing and hearing a lot more from Kemi Badenoch.
Yeah, Matthew, yeah, all right, there may be more to come, but there's an awful long way to go if she's going to reverse the Tories' fate. Do you think she stands a chance?
So the poll where there's this tiny bounce back does show a tiny bounce back, but it is only 3 points. There's an enormous amount of time to go. What I would say is that the biggest loser from that speech was Robert Jenrick, the Shadow Justice Secretary, because I think what shifted in that speech, and I think you're right, by the way, I think it began to shift at the party conference, was internal Tory politics. I think Kemi Badenoch, there's no doubt about it, has shored up her position from a very weak starting point as leader of the Conservative Party. But does she have the remotest hope of being the next Prime Minister? I really don't think so, because the Tories got the most extraordinary kicking at the last election. Yes, there's the signs of a bit of a fight back, but I don't think it's going to result in a Conservative victory at the next election.
Well, yeah, but by that same logic, Matthew, you would look at the Labour Party and say, look how incredibly well they did at the last election with a supermajority, and yet can anyone see them holding on to power?
Look, it's absolutely true that Keir Starmer turned around the Labour Party from that awful defeat to Boris Johnson in 2019 when Corbyn was leader and Johnson got an 80-seat majority, to then a Labour supermajority in the 170s just 4 or 5 years later. And therefore, when we are in the game of predictions, you can't write anybody off. It is not impossible, not totally impossible, that Badenoch managed to pull the rabbit out of the electoral hat. I just don't see it happening. Now, look, personally, I didn't like that speech. I could see it had cut through. I could see that she was speaking for a lot of people who'll feel a lot of anger at Rachel Reeves and the Labour government more widely. I thought it was a bit nasty in places. I thought that sometimes she can come across as a bit of a school bully. Did it have some cut-through? Yes. Is this the seeds of some sort of recovery? Possibly. But can I see them winning the next election? Not a hope in hell, because don't forget, although there wasn't a massive enthusiasm for the Labour Party at the last election last year, there was an emphatic rejection of the Conservatives, and the memories of those 14 years will still, I think, be so fresh in voters' minds in 3 years' time. I just don't think they have a chance.
Anna, a quick response from you, but it has to be quick, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I absolutely think there's a chance of Kemi Badenoch winning the next election, because what's becoming crystal clear is that this Labour government lied their way into office. They've lied since they came into office, and they are running the economy into the ground. And Kemi, on the recent polling, is more popular, much more popular than Keir Starmer, and much more trusted on the economy, and much more popular and trusted on the economy than Nigel Farage. If your leader... If the economy is the major issue at the election and your leader is the most trusted on that issue, of course there's a chance of winning the next election. And let's look at the comparison with Mrs Thatcher. Kemi Badenoch, even now, 3 to 4 years away from the election, is more popular than Mrs Thatcher was at the same time. She's even more popular than Mrs Thatcher was 6 months before she won her first electoral mini landslide in 1979. So yes, there's very much a chance.
All right. Anna, Matthew, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. Wow. Do stay with us, because next up it's a big day for Premier League clashes, as Chelsea are set to host Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. Aidan McGee will be here to tell us all about it.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
exist. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Aidan's here with the sport. Good morning.
Good morning. Can we chat?
Big game at Stamford Bridge.
Stamford Bridge, 4:30 today. This is probably the biggest game of the Premier League season so far. It will have a global audience up there with the Super Bowl in terms of numbers. Arsenal going there. I was there at Arsenal on Wednesday when they beat Bayern Munich. They've been in sizzling form. Statistically, they are the best team in the country by a country mile. But they're 6 points ahead of Chelsea. And Chelsea have been slowly getting their act together. We don't know whether Cole Palmer's going to play today. We've been told he's been declared fit, but Arsenal will be kept guessing as to whether they're going to face him, whether he's starting in the starting 11 or whether he's on the bench. But we'll see that. That'll all come to pass later today. And let's hear from the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, who believes Chelsea deserve to be considered title contenders.
We know the challenge, we know the opportunity that we have as well on Sunday, so we are fully ready for it. Well, I think we are all there, and they are there because they fully deserve what they are, what they have done in the last few years. I think the squad that they assembled, the numbers that they have, the amount of quality, the manager and the coaching staff that they have, you know, it makes sense that what is happening there is very, very positive, and they deserve to be there.
So if Chelsea win that, they cut the deficit to 3 points. Suddenly everything is to play for. Arsenal can extend the lead to 9 points. That would put them out of sight for me, even though we're only in late November, early December. We've got big games today with Liverpool. We're all eyes on them because of the situation with the manager. Man United in action as well from midday. And I want to touch on cricket if I possibly can.
Yes.
Bad news with England missing Mark Wood, their fast bowler, to a recurring knee injury. But I went all around South West London yesterday, 5 different sports shops, trying to find a pink ball like the one they're going to use in Brisbane for the day-night game.
Now, remind us why they use a pink ball.
Because it's a day-night game, so it needs to be luminous, not just for the players, but also for spectators and for the TV audience. I think we've got a picture of the balls. That's the best I could do, because I went everywhere yesterday.
Well, they wouldn't have
There you go.
Oh, I see.
There you go. So those move in different heats. They respond to different heat. They respond to different conditions. It's not uncommon for wickets to be different everywhere you go. That's part of the challenge of
Is that right?
yeah, so facing a series, you know, sometimes it's a bowler's wicket, sometimes it's a batter's wicket, but that material there, it can expand, it can turn in the air differently, and so unfortunately I couldn't give you one today, but I'm hopeful I might get one in the flesh for you to touch and feel.
Well, I'm surprised. Why would we have them in Britain anyway? We don't.
No, we don't. Well, this is in
That's why
Australia.
You just couldn't pop out to the shop and get one for us.
No, but you do play indoor cricket under lights. We do play some. In the 2020, we do play some cricket under lights as well at Kennington and elsewhere. So you do, and it's a shorter form of the game. So I think it's something we're going to see more of. And why shouldn't cricket be played into the evening? I mean, football's been played in the evening back 50 years ago, even longer. So
why not?
I'll see if I can get you a nice ball, but for now you're going to have to do with the pictures.
Okay. All right, that'll do for now. All right, Aidan, thank you. We'll see you later.
And do stay with us, because still to come, we're going to be looking through the papers, of course, with Emma and Lewis, who are doing so right now. First of all, though, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's where to go for it.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, and this is your holiday forecast from the Met Office. It's a little bit changeable across Europe over the next week or so. We do have a few showers across the Canary Islands to begin with, but some nice bright sunshine for Spain, maybe just feeling a little bit cooler than normal here. For northern Italy, we do have some heavier showers to begin with, and we do have some nice bright sunnier spells for Greece. Now, it does remain a bit unchangeable over the next few days, but for Tenerife, the temperatures are slowly on the rise.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Nana Akweer, weekends from 3 p.m.
And I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about autism and why you got involved with this, because some people don't know the story as to why you set up Anna Kennedy Online.
Well, I have two sons. They're now 32 and 35, and I'm proud to say that my eldest son, Patrick, is in Stockholm at the moment on his own, so that's like a big step for him to go on holiday, and he's loving it. So they both were diagnosed fairly young, and the support at the time was just non-existent.
Yeah.
So we had to set up our own school, and then we set up a vocational college for my youngest son, Angelo.
Now, how do you know that they're autistic? Is there a blood test? Is it something where you have a list of symptoms? Or because some people say, oh, I've got ADHD and this and that, and I think sometimes people conflate it with autism. Are there parallels with the two, or are they totally separate? Because it's confusing.
They're very different from each other, both Patrick and Angelo. So Angelo was diagnosed fairly early at 2.5, 3. He passed all the milestones, and then he just lost everything. His speech, eye contact, didn't want to be touched, didn't even want me to hug him at the time, running from one end of the room to the other, squealing, and it was just like, what is going on? And as a mum, you're thinking, what have I done wrong? Have I done something wrong?
Oh, no.
Patrick was diagnosed fairly early again, but he was premature, and I thought the difficulties that he was having because he was 11 weeks premature, I thought, is it because he had a bit of a difficult start, in and out of hospital, and then he was diagnosed at 4, and then we found out when he was 7, when he was struggling at school. He was finding school difficult, being bullied. So it's an autism spectrum condition, and if you feel that there might be, something that I'm not quite sure, I can't get a handle on it, please go and see your GP and just ask for your child to be assessed. But the difficulty at the minute is the waiting list is so long to get a diagnosis.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletin's here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
going through the papers at 7:46 with Lewis Oakley and Emma Wolfe. Good morning. Can we just, because you are our resident author with quite a heritage, Emma, can we just have a look at Tom Stoppard?
Yeah, this is terribly sad. It is the end of a kind of literary era. 6 decades-long career that Sir Tom had. My parents hung out with him in the 60s and 70s. They have. My mum has a wonderful story. Gorgeous man, but also a real flirt in a lovely way, in a gentlemanly way. And Mum was telling me last night about a very gorgeous little pink suit that she was wearing that he appreciated, let us say, very much. And what a lovely man who's died at the age of 88. But yeah, I mean, not only a playwright, but also a screenwriter. He wrote the screenplay for Shakespeare in Love, which is something that...
what he won the Oscar for?
Yes, he won a Golden Globe and an Academy Award, and so many other kind of literary accolades in his career. He was really proud of his Czech heritage, wasn't he? And found out lots and lots about his Jewish roots, but also very British as well. I think he balanced that.
Basically, he became the master of the second language.
Yeah.
Because he didn't speak English until he came to Britain.
At around, I think he was age 9, so it's quite late to...
So he became an absolute master of English, which wasn't his native, his real language.
And people say, you know, what should you see? What should you read? Because I think you should read Tom Stoppard as well as seeing him on the stage. And there's travesties and there's jumpers and there's Arcadia. I would recommend Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead, which is so clever. And what you're saying about language there and words, that was the genius, really, of Tom Stoppard. There's one quote I wanted to read you. Be happy. If you're not even happy, what's so good about surviving? And he's so good about life and about mortality and about the fact that life is going in one direction for all of us. Same direction. Time is the only measure. He's brilliant on that. And he's kind of very intellectual, but also really accessible.
Yes, yes, he was. And if you don't believe us, and you thought that he only wrote plays for the West End,
go and see him.
Have a look at Shakespeare in Love, because it's beautifully written. It really is lovely.
Follow that boat. Instead of follow that car in Shakespeare in Love, follow that boat.
Lewis, can we have a look at the Sunday Telegraph? Looking at town clocks in Britain.
Yeah, well, this is...
I mean, these are part of our heritage.
Yeah, it's called Hard Times, they've gone with. So almost 1 in 6 town clocks in Britain no longer work. Just under 15% of public clocks on council-owned buildings cannot be used to tell the time. And I hate seeing this, because when you walk around and you see these broken clocks, it's such a sign of a declining Britain. Are you joking? We've got these beautiful, gorgeous buildings that were made hundreds of years ago, and then we've inherited them, and we can't even keep the clocks working. I mean, it's pathetic. And it's not just the clocks as well. It's, you know, the fact that you can never find public toilets now. And as someone that's got 2 little kids, that, Daddy, I need a wee now, and you can't find a public toilet. I mean, it's just... And at the time when we've got sky-high tax and council tax, you just think, you better damn well make sure those clocks work.
There's one that makes me really sad, and I live in central London. Southwark Cathedral, which must be one of the most beautiful buildings, the oldest, most, you know, important for our heritage. Southwark Cathedral, the clock doesn't work. It's been stuck on midday or midnight for probably 5-10 years. And it may be that it's one of these very, very old, you know, kind of ancient mechanisms.
Probably the clockwork mechanism is probably very expensive.
Very expensive, because look at the work on Big Ben, for example, or what's it called, the tower?
They are expensive to repair when they are properly broken. What they should be doing, of course, is maintaining them on a yearly basis.
Yes, they should.
Which is
and you're right, it's part of a sign of decline, like no public lavatories, clocks broken, no bins in the street, that kind of thing. Potholes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, what about our decline? How it's going to affect our Christmas? According to the Daily Star, Emma, there's a shortage of Christmas trees.
Well, we were talking, weren't we, about you've already got your tree up. I think Anne's got her tree up already.
Yes, yes, it came in 2 parts. It was assembled yesterday.
And is it 6 foot?
It was sold as a 6-footer. It's about 4'2".
Well, that's trade descriptions. I wish we could see a picture on screen of Stephen's tree, because it's really amazing.
Yeah.
How many? It's amazing. How many lights? 1,000?
1,500.
1,500 Christmas tree lights on one tree.
Yeah.
It looks stunning.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of lights.
Are you going to the trouble of a tree?
I will for my 5-year-old. I will.
Yeah, you should do.
Yeah, I really love my Christmas decorations, to be honest. And this year, we put it up yesterday. I was just marvelling at all the decorations. It's taken me years to get the tree and the decorations and everything I want just right. And my hot tip was the tree we got. It's 8 foot, but we brought it in the sale a few years ago, and it's just magnificent.
Oh,
I love it.
Fake. Well, this is claiming because of this shortage.
Yeah.
A 7-footer is £110.
Now can cost up to £110 because of spring frost.
It depends it depends where you go. I mean, ours was 7 foot, and it was exactly half that price.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a market at the end of our road in Hackney, and it's over £100 for anything over 6 foot.
Really?
Over £100.
That's the sort of price I'm used to paying for a real one.
Yeah, oh, you're going to the...
So you get real but non-falling. Do you get non-falling pines?
Yeah, well...
I'm not a fan of the real trees since I got one and put it in the living room, and when I turned on the heating, millions of spiders came out of it. So I'm not having one of those again. So I now go for a false one.
I have enough mess with kids running around. I don't need a tree and all its things.
So you get a fake one, and then what? You put it away and then bring it out every year. I need to learn what
That's
to do.
apparently the more sustainable thing to do, I think.
Okay.
It's the smell.
The smell?
The smell of
it is wonderful.
It's not the same.
No, but it's not.
Yeah, but better than spiders.
We love a real tree. You can always spray it with fly spray before you...
Yes, that's what I thought of doing, actually, hanging a great big plastic sheet over it and having a go at it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Kill the tree.
Can you all come round and
sort the Christmas trees. I was reading in the Mirror that there's a Brussels sprout shortage as well because of the hard harvest.
Every year they say that. It's just a way of encouraging us to...
Well, anyway, this is to do with the spring frost, the heat wave and climactic long-term problems.
Shop around for your trees. All right, you two, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you later. Here's the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today, at least, we have some nice, bright, sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the greatest cash prize of a Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country. Good morning. It's crunch time for the Prime Minister as he tries to rescue the Chancellor's budget and tackle the cost of living crisis.
And it follows revelations that Sir Keir Starmer actually did sign off on Rachel Reeves's tax-raising budget, despite knowing himself as well as her that actually it was a positive forecast from the OBR.
Well, pressure is now mounting on the Chancellor to resign.
Sad breaking news from America. 4 people have died, 10 others injured after a mass shooting at a child's birthday party in California. And the police say the suspect is still at large.
She said to them, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'll be there on Wednesday, I'll be there next year, and I'll be back the year after that. God help us. She is spineless, shameless, and completely aimless.
The Conservatives rise to their highest poll rating since March after Kemi Badenoch's fiery Commons attack on the budget. Is this the start of a Tory revival?
And Christmas is nearly upon us. Yes, it is. Today marks the first Sunday of Advent, the start of the season when we anticipate everything that's going to happen around Christmas.
Trying to make St Andrew's Day just as big as St Patrick's Day and have everyone celebrating across the country.
And let's raise a dram to St Andrew's Day. Scotland celebrates its patron saint with a day of singing, dancing and a drink or two.
I'll try everything to win in Qatar, says Lando Norris, who can win a maiden World Drivers' Championship today if he can hold off rivals Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen. It was a thrilling day of Premier League action too, but all eyes are on Stamford Bridge this afternoon as Chelsea host Arsenal in a top-of-the-table clash.
Hello there. It's going to be a nice and bright end towards the weekend, but as we head into the new working week, things will start to turn a little bit more unsettled. Join me for all the latest.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
And I'm Anne Diamond, and this is GB News Breakfast. Looking at food.
Well, I'm a bit peeved because we've just sold our slow cooker.
Yeah.
We bought a slow cooker
Something
and then...
you regret in the end.
Yeah, and then just never used it.
Yeah, I've never used mine.
No, well, and now I've just
You'll
seen...
miss it when it's gone.
Nathan Anthony in The Sun this morning has got 2 recipes, one for a slow cooker Baileys and Lindt hot chocolate, and one for a slow cooker Terry's chocolate fondant.
Well, you cook them in the slow cooker?
You put them in the slow cooker. I didn't know you could make puddings.
Terry's chocolate orange?
Yeah, on the top, yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't know you could make... If I knew you could make puddings in the blooming thing...
I didn't know you could either.
No.
I thought it was just for casseroles.
Mine's enormous.
Well,
I can't imagine making it.
Making a pudding.
I can't imagine making a pudding that big. No.
Well, why not?
I suppose you could do them in the air fryer. No?
Well, yeah. Oh, well, no, he does cinnamon rolls in the air fryer.
Oh, well, I'll have a look at that. I tried something yesterday that I've never heard of before, but you know when you are on YouTube, which is fatal for me because you get diverted, don't you? I watched this thing about cooking an onion flour.
Oh, an onion flour.
Yeah.
I've had those in Mexico.
Oh.
They call it it's an outback.
A blooming onion.
Blooming onion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do Australian
you
outback
get a big
restaurants.
onion and then you slice it down so that when you put it in cold water, it opens up like a flour.
And then you deep fry it.
And then you deep fry it.
Oh, it's the most unhealthy thing you'll ever eat.
Absolutely.
Deep fried marshmallow.
But they're
As you can imagine,
they're
very
amazing.
tasty.
They're really nice.
Was it scattered with breadcrumbs and
Yeah,
things
they did
like
all
that?
sorts in it, yeah. But it's
And then a dip?
Yeah, there was a dip with it.
I didn't quite get it right. I'm going to have another go. I
But
think.
Jennifer Powers, as you know, is here. We may as well bring her in on something.
Yeah. Have you ever done a blooming onion?
You must have been to an outback.
I have been to an outback in the States. I do know what a blooming onion is. I don't know that it's the most unhealthy thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it has an onion at it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean, an onion is a vegetable, right?
Yeah, but it's fat through and through.
Well, sure, but we all love our chips and onion rings in the US are a greasy delight.
Yeah.
So I applaud your culinary experimentation.
You'll know this then. What's a funyun?
A funyun?
Funyun? Oh, is that not from junk food in a...
Yeah, I don't know.
One of those
It's something you do
crispy
with an
onions?
onion, and it's called a funyun, and it seems to be very American. It crops up occasionally in sitcoms that you watch from America.
Does it really?
And I thought, what on earth is a funyun? You can buy bags of them, and they're just cookie-type things, snacks. But there is a funyun.
How are you spelling it? F-U-N-I-O-N?
I don't know how you spell it.
F-U-N-Y-U-N.
Oh, right. Funyun.
It's...
I don't know.
But if you go to certain, fast food type restaurants in the States, you can order a funyun, and it comes like that, and it looks a bit like a blooming onion.
It must be a fried onion, then.
There's...
if you know what a funyun
There's
is.
crisps called funyuns.
Yeah, it's not those.
Or it can be a pizza topping, or it can be a type of onion ring.
There you go, type of onion ring. That makes more sense what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it looked like that. When I saw it on the menu, it looked like that.
We're going to make everyone really hungry. We've gone from chocolate puddings and hot chocolate here to
we've gone backwards as well.
There is serious stuff to be debating.
This is what happens when you get up so early. You're ready for lunch by 8 a.m.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I've already had a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, have you? Oh, dear.
I fancy a chocolate orange pud.
Yeah, it looks very nice. Anyway, look, enough of that and on to the serious stuff, because pressure is mounting on the Prime Minister after it emerged that he'd signed off on the Chancellor's so-called black hole tax raid, despite that OBR report saying there wasn't that much of a black hole.
No, in fact, a surfeit. The Conservatives have now reported the Chancellor to the financial watchdog, urging an investigation into possible market abuse.
Well, meanwhile, on top of all this, the PM's expected to unveil new plans to tackle the cost of living tomorrow. Is that then trying to sort of move the focus away from the budget?
Well, voters are now calling for Rachel Reeves to... Everybody's calling for Rachel Reeves to resign, basically, except the Labour front bench, as far as I can see. Joining us now, political commentator Jennifer Powers. Can I ask you, funnily enough, not about Rachel Reeves, first of all, but about Kemi Badenoch's attack on her in the budget counter-speech. What did you think? Was it too brutal, or is that what we expect nowadays and haven't had for a while?
No, I thought she was incredibly effective. I think she's really stepped up and seems to have grown into her role over the past, I don't know, maybe 8-10 weeks, certainly this autumn. There's been some change in her team around her, which I think has made some difference. But I also think it's quite a strange job. I mean, leader of the opposition, when you have such a decimated party, you know, I think it's just taken a while for her to find her feet. So no, I thought, looking at it objectively, she did a great job. I thought all this talk about, oh, you know, is it bad for her to have a woman to attack another woman? I thought that in itself was sexist, because I think that we should all be held to account for how well we do or not in a job, and it shouldn't matter whether we're a man or a woman. So I thought that was rubbish.
It's interesting. It's all about resonating with voters, isn't it? I mean, that's how you win elections at the end of the day. And I think... I mean, there are people saying it was too nasty. She was too much of an attack dog. But, I mean, that clip we've been playing this morning, when she says, you know, she was telling the Labour Party, you know, I'll be around for this Wednesday, the year after that, God help us. Yeah. Well, actually, that's what... not all, obviously, but that is what a lot of people in the country are saying down the pub.
Yeah, and well, absolutely. I mean, there is quite a backlash against the budget. The snap polls that they often do say, you know, do you think you're going to be better or worse off? Every majority say worse off. You know, do you support the budget? No. I think Kemi will be pleased for a number of reasons. One, because as I said, I think she did well at the dispatch box. But secondly, because people are actually talking about her performance. And it's very hard for a party that is that low in the polls, and obviously Reform is usually the story of a party doing well. And I think things have become more interesting lately because we have the Green Party, which continues to do well. You know, many people call Zach Polansky a charismatic leader. I don't myself find him especially charismatic, but he is finding that traction with the public. And then you have the Tories doing just a tiny bit better than they have been. So
how do you think?
Very interesting.
Having seen Kemi now doing her bit, and you know, very accomplished it was too. How do you think Nigel Farage would do if he had the similar position, so that he had the opportunity to stand at the dispatch box?
Well, I think he would likewise. I mean, be quite, you know, vicious, ruthless in his attacks. I mean, you know, he does have a very straight-talking way about him, so I can't imagine that he would pull his punches. In a way, I mean, you know, it's always more difficult for a man to attack a woman verbally than it is for a woman to do it, I think. So that could actually, from a, you know, I appreciate that shouldn't matter either, but at least from a perception standpoint, you know, some people could be critical of that. So no, I think this budget just shows, though, doesn't it, that, you know, Reform is sort of out of the picture. This is a news story. You know, they're usually center stage, if not
but they're
every day,
leading in the
week.
polls.
They're still leading in the polls, although, you know, I feel like that gap is a little bit...
It's a bit tighter than it was.
A bit tighter than it was, with the Greens and the Tories both doing better. Lib Dems just seem to be stuck at 12, 13%, although their vote is very concentrated, so they get a disproportionate number of seats. I think they have 72 now, don't they? But yeah, I think what's interesting for Reform is it's a new era, because they can't sit on their laurels. I mean, Nigel talks about how he's not complacent. If they really do want to get a majority in 2029 or whenever the election comes, which I'm sure they do, they're really going to have to work for it. It's not just going to land in their lap, because it is such an open picture here in terms of what happens.
And in terms of what we've got today, I mean, in a way, it's getting a bit repetitive. We say, you know, people are calling on Rachel Reeves to resign. Well, that's been going on for a while now. It's just whether there is actually more credible reasons for her to resign. And indeed, the pressure on the Prime Minister, if he actually knew and signed off on what would appear to be an untruth about what was being said ahead of the budget.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that there will be enough wiggle room in terms of the OBR forecast and what it said, and she never came out in all the briefings to the media and in the speech, that press conference she gave bright and early one day for the lobby and for the general public. There'll be enough wiggle room in that she's saying, well, she was laying the groundwork for tax rises, and she brought in tax rises. So I suspect the Labour backbenchers will be in no mood to get rid of her, especially given the very Labour budget that we've discussed that she delivered. So, you know, we have a full fat Labour government. We have record high taxes. We have record high spending. We have record high welfare payments. It's what the Labour Party wanted. They're very happy about that. And I think they'll probably ride out this storm. Keir Starmer will, you know, as we know, is scheduled to give a speech. I don't know, I tend to find his speeches a bit underwhelming, so I can't imagine that...
You sort of miss Angela Rayner, because I was just thinking...
She has a bit of fire in her belly, doesn't she?
Well, she doesn't speak like a robot, which a lot of the others do.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? I find that Starmer, it just sort of deflate a bit when you hear him talking. You know, he sort of sucks the life out of any room. So I can't imagine that he'll sort of energise things for the party. But obviously it's his role, and he should give it a go. I mean, he's the leader of the country and the party, and
this is how politics is changing, isn't it? And it's almost back to the Kemi Badenoch issue as to why she did so well in that response at the budget. Is because she was talking the language of real people. It's how people are talking down the pub, which is what Nigel Farage does as well. The idea that you get the Prime Minister, the Chancellor, we had the Education Secretary on the other day, who are so briefed. I mean, you could ask them what time it is and they'll just give you a response that they've pre-prepared. It doesn't matter what you ask them, really.
Yeah, there's a lack of authenticity there.
Well, yeah, and politics has changed. The public have changed. We expect a degree of authenticity, don't we now?
Well, we respond to people that we see as authentic, or we sense are authentic. Whether they really are or not, or they're just incredibly good at presenting themselves as authentic is another question altogether. But no, I think you're right. I think people respond best to people they feel they can relate to. I mean, that's why one of the reasons Boris Johnson was so popular. I mean, he was a total character, and it's not as if we all knew people like him. But we thought, my goodness, he doesn't hide who he is. He is just himself in every situation. And when that became bumbling or other things, then, you know, people got a bit sick and tired of it. But they responded to that. And I think the same is with Angela Rayner. And yeah, it's funny. I think there's something with Labour Party whereby they've shaken off the new Labour policies and the economic prudence, but they haven't shaken off the kind of Alistair Campbell sort of very tightly controlled lines to take in the messaging. And as you say, they come out a bit robotic-like with those messages. And those only work as messages if people view them as true. And so when you have the politicians coming out, whether it's Nigel Farage or Kemi Badenoch, and saying things which more accurately chime with our own experiences, then we trust them more and we respond.
It's when they come out with the same phrase.
Oh, time and time
lots
again.
of different ministers, if they're stopped and asked about something, they come out with the same phrase.
And Keir Starmer loves these phrases like plan for change, and like missions, and in this way that none of us talk in real life.
Yes, that's right.
So
nobody speaks like that.
But it's a spad, isn't it, coming out with all these and thinking we're stupid and we'll just fall for it. I mean, and it's not just the Labour Party. I mean, Theresa May, strong and stable and all that sort of business. And I mean, it didn't work.
No. Indeed, I think they haven't caught up with the reality of communication now. But yes, we'll obviously leave it for others to dissect his speech come Monday.
Yes. Be interesting, though. Jennifer, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Good to see you both.
Just to remind you that if you are a friend of GB News, which you can join for free, you can vote in our You Decide poll today. Scan the QR code if you're watching on TV. You can see it on your screen right now, or you can just go to gbnews.com. We're asking today, would reversing the tax rises restore your faith in the budget? 6% of you currently saying yes, but 94% of you say no. You can continue to have your say throughout the day.
Meanwhile, just to remind you of the breaking news that's coming in from America, 4 people have died, 10 others have been injured following a shooting at a child's birthday party in Northern California.
Yeah, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office said children and adults are amongst the victims.
And according to the police, the suspect is still at large. Officers are yet to disclose the attacker's identity. Motive is unclear.
Of course, it's going to the top, all of this. The California Governor, Gavin Newsom, is keeping abreast of all the developments. He said it's a really horrific incident, but we are waiting for more details. It is the middle of the night over there, of course. As we get more, we will let you know.
Yeah, apparently it started happening about 6:30 p.m. their time. And as you say, by now it's the middle of the night, and it sounds absolutely horrific. However, let's move on. It is the first Sunday of Advent today, and of course it's the last day of November. And if you're in Scotland particularly, you know what that means, because it is St Andrew's Day.
Well, the East Coast Scottish town that shares Andrew's name held its annual hoolie yesterday with an all-day bash with singing, dancing and a few whiskies.
Yes, GB News' Scotland reporter Tony Maguire was there too.
At the end of a cold, dark November, Scots raise a glass to their patron saint, St Andrew. In addition to being Scotland's patron, he's associated with singers, sore throats and gout. Well, sounds to me like symptoms of a fantastic party. And that's exactly how this town marks the 30th of November every year. A decade ago, Bid St Andrews was set up to keep the East Coast town buzzing all year long. Georgia Heggie is running the show this year, tasked with making St Andrews shine for every local and visitor.
So the Big Hoolie has really become a highlight in the town's calendar. It gets bigger and bigger every year, which is great. We're really trying to make St Andrew's Day just as big as St Patrick's Day and have everyone celebrating across the country, and we're better to come than the town of the patron saint himself. So.
The hoolie is always well attended by locals, but the big St Andrews Bash has made quite the impact on some of the 700,000 people who flock here annually, especially those lucky enough to be here today.
Why spend St Andrew's Day in St Andrews?
Because you celebrate it, you know, it's fantastic, you still keep the culture going, and ultimately that's what these events are about.
I really like it. I always come here in summer, but I never had the opportunity to come this day, and I always wanted.
Fantastic.
Love it here.
Brilliant day. People are really friendly, and we've met our new friend here, right? We bought off the main shed, right, which is a great place to buy things.
One of the performers was St Andrews University student Jake Pollock. He's written a few songs about St Andrews, drawing inspiration from the connection he's made to this historic town.
I feel like the town's changed me into a completely different person. Obviously, when I moved here I wasn't into golf at all. Now I'm obsessed. I was a bit manic. Now I've calmed down a bit like the rest of St Andrews.
The 30th of November is the supposed anniversary of St Andrew's death, crucified on a lopsided cross that later gained his name. 500 years later, that cross became the saltire, Scotland's heraldic flag, and to this day it's waved as a symbol of strong national identity. Don't believe me? Well, just you wait until the World Cup. Tony Maguire, GB News, St Andrews.
Fantastic.
Have a brilliant day.
Yeah, just enjoy it. And we should celebrate St Patrick's up and down the country. We should do them all up and down the country. Why not? I think it's really good.
You need a good reason to celebrate, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, look, should we have a check on the weather for you today? Here's Liam.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today, at least, we have some nice, bright, sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. Further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the West Country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Time for a brand new Great British giveaway now, and your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date. That's 85 grand, tax-free cash. Ooh. It could be yours for the new year. How would that feel, eh? Here's how to take part.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Up next, we're going to talk to the renowned evangelist J. John about the true meaning of Christmas.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
has had a £9,000 contract cancelled after he spent his summer putting up England and Union Jack flags around his hometown. So far, so patriotic. But the council didn't agree. Bill Crotty made headlines after putting up St George's and Union Jack flags on the A1198 near the village of Basingbourne in Cambridgeshire, near the town of Royston. However, not long afterwards, he received an email from his local council telling him his services will not longer be required. So he's been cancelled over a council getting into a flap over some flags. Well, I'm joined in the studio by the man himself, Bill Crotty. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey,
a pleasure to have your company. I saw your flags at the time. Magnificent.
Thank you.
Resplendent. Flapping all over the area. You're a successful tree surgeon, and you had a council contract. They saw your flags and they gave you the chop.
Yeah, that's right. I advertised on, I appeared on regional news programmes.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, I got a text just telling me that the job had been pulled. So I had a conversation with the chairman, and he just said, I'm sorry, Billy. He said my hands are tied. To be honest, the chairman's a decent man, and he just said I just couldn't do anything about it. It's out of my hands. So.
We can see some of the flags that you put up there, Billy. Tell us what inspired you to put them up in the first place. I mean, it looks magnificent. And I think, as you said, 99.9% of people have absolutely no problem with them whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
GB News, the People's Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Right, it's 8:26, and today Christians around the world light the first Advent calendar, ushering in the magic of the Christmas season.
Well, they don't light the calendar. They light the candle.
Did I say calendar?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't set fire to your Advent calendar.
It does say candle in there. I just
You said
misread
calendar.
it. Did I say calendar?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, I don't like to.
No, because you don't open your Advent calendar till tomorrow.
No, that's right, on the 1st. But it is the first Sunday of
my
Advent.
marbles.
Yeah. Never mind. Don't worry.
It's my
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm older than I look.
But it's a lovely. We were saying earlier that it's a lovely time of year, I think, Advent, because although Christmas is fab, Advent is about the anticipation, and it's very ancient, the anticipation, because that's when the prophets were saying amazing things were going to happen, and come Christmas they do.
Well, they do. Well, let's talk to evangelist and author J. John and his wife Killy John, who join us now. Really good to see you this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you both.
Do you think we're getting a bit of a resurgence in Christian faith in the country?
Oh,
at the
I
moment?
definitely think we are. I think there's an awakening, there's a receptivity. Recent reports have indicated that tens of thousands of men age 18 to 30 are just turning up at church.
Yes, we'd heard this. Now, why?
Yes.
What do you put that down to?
Well, I think there's a surge. People are searching. People are feeling disillusioned. They're feeling that what they have believed and what they've practiced isn't fulfilling them, and they're seeking God.
If indeed that age group have ever really been taught how
anything
at all.
I think that's part of it. That you know, the 18, and they've been through so much with COVID and everything. That I think they are thinking more about what's life about, the meaning of life. Apparently, there's research that's showing they want sort of moral values and things like that. So
you see, what's interesting, though, I think, is, I mean, for people of my generation, you were taught the basics at school, and we always went to church every week. So whether you believe anything or not, you've got a grounding in the very basics of a Christian faith. Now, what these young people don't necessarily have is that at all. So is that then challenging when they do start to go to whatever denomination church they go to? That there's a lot of almost rules and regulations and basic understandings that you've got to get your head round.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's understanding of Christianity is actually a misunderstanding. So sometimes you have to clear away those misunderstandings and then reframe it and present it in a way that people can understand. And sadly, on occasions, the church hasn't always been very good at communicating what is the heart of Christianity. But during this Advent Christmas season, it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of rediscover what the heart of Christianity and Christmas is all about.
Which is what, Killy?
Which is what? It's wonderful. Well, Advent is the season of remembering Jesus coming. And so we look back, but Advent's also, we look forward because Jesus will come again. And it's the whole thing of Jesus came to bring us, you know, forgiveness from the past. This is what the Christian faith is all about, forgiveness from the past, new life here today, and a hope for the future. And I think Advent's a time, even if you're eating your chocolate Advent calendars, because it is exciting and for children, the anticipation. But I think even if you're just opening your Advent calendar in the morning, just to take a moment and think, why do we do this? What is Christmas really all about?
Well, as I was saying earlier, I mean, Advent's one of my favourite times of the year. And Advent carols are the best. aren't they? The only ones that they're sort of old-fashioned, sometimes they're very old themselves.
Like O Come, O Come, Emmanuel.
Lo, he comes with the angel Gabriel from heaven came.
Yes.
It's all about what's going to happen. Something cool is going to happen. Something wonderful.
Like you mentioned earlier, Anne, about anticipation. And there is that anticipation and expectation. There really is.
Well, there was at the time, wasn't there?
Yeah.
If you believe everything that was been written down. But certainly historically, a lot was written down. There were prophets who said something amazing was going to happen. Your wise men, they didn't just take 3 weeks to come from the east to Jerusalem. They took a long time to get to Bethlehem. And the star in the sky and all the rest of it.
So, what's your take on the commercialisation of it all? Because we can't stop it, we can't roll back the clock, but does it go too far? Sometimes it makes me a little bit uncomfortable that we are so commercial.
No, I don't think it does that personally,
don't we lose the message?
Well, I think the thing is, it's an incredible event, Christmas, so there's all these additional things around. Now, the danger, I think, is that you can get caught up in the wrapping paper and miss the gift.
Oh, that's very nice.
So I think that is the danger. And you sometimes find, don't you, on Christmas Day, a child will be given this very expensive toy, and then they'll end up playing with the box. And the toy's on the side, broken probably, and they're playing with the box. They're happier with the box than the toy. I think that's the danger. I'm reminded of this infant school, and the highlight of the year was the annual Christmas production. And this little boy was desperate to play the part of Joseph. The day arrived, the teacher announced the starring roles. He wasn't chosen to play Joseph, but he was chosen to play the innkeeper. But he didn't want to be the innkeeper, so he was very, very upset. Anyway, the great day arrived when the infant school presented their annual Christmas production to the entire school, all the families, all the friends. And then you get to that point where Mary and Joseph arrive at the innkeeper's door and they knock on the door. The door opens, the innkeeper comes out, and Joseph says, "Can my wife Mary and I, can we come in for the evening?" And the innkeeper said, "She can come in, but you can't." I wanted to be Joseph.
Oh,
no! There are so many different versions of Christmas. And that's why it's important to go back to the original script. And the whole meaning of Advent is saying, let's just go back to the original script. What did it actually say? And yes, as Anne mentioned, the wise men came. By the way, have you ever thought about what would happen if the wise women arrived? If they were wise women.
They must have been there in the entourage.
Well, if they were wise women, they would have arrived on time because they would have asked for directions. They would have brought a casserole, they would have helped with the delivery, and they would have brought far more practical presents.
Yes, the presents weren't terribly practical at all.
But gold, frankincense and myrrh. So if you ask somebody, well, why those things? Why those three things? Well, gold is a symbol of kingship. So they understood that he was king. And they bowed down and worshipped him. Frankincense is a symbol of prayer. So they'd understood he's come to communicate. And myrrh is a symbol of death. They'd understood that he's come to do something.
Look, sadly, we are out of time. Jay and Killy, thank you both
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To see you this morning.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, and you.
Happy Christmas.
Yes, indeed. Now, still to come, we go from that sort of sense of tranquility and understanding...
to
sport, which will be total madness. But Aidan's got all the latest details ahead of the F1 Grand Prix today.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Start your engines, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan McGee's here with the F1 News.
Exactly.
It should be a good day today.
It'll be a good day. It's also the biggest day by far in this young man's career. 26-year-old Lando Norris stands on the brink of greatness by winning his maiden World Drivers' Championship in Formula One. Now, his directive is clear. He has to win today to scoop the loot. And let's be honest, if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world, but it will increase the pressure as they go on to the final race next week down in Brazil. So, look, he hasn't qualified particularly well. He qualified in second. Piastri, who is his teammate, and also one of the other two drivers who can still overhaul him, alongside Max Verstappen, who finished in third yesterday in the Red Bull. But as I say, I think in sport, if you've got a clear understanding of what you have to do, there aren't any permutations. They won't happen until next week unless he blows up today. But if he wins today and he finishes top of the podium, what a celebration that would be. It means he can go into next weekend's race in Brazil with no pressure whatsoever. So let's hope he can do it, because I think that Max Verstappen's been trying to wind him up. He had that technical infringement last week that got him disqualified along with his teammate from the race last week. And I just think that we need a new heir apparent in F1.
Yeah, I think so. It's time.
It is. I mean, I think Hamilton won his first one in about 2008-9, something like that. It's been a long time. He's achieved magnificent things, but it hasn't happened for him in Ferrari. And today might just be a British changing of the guard.
Oh, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
And you want to know what's happening at Tottenham, don't you?
I do.
What's happening at Tottenham?
Well, they went 2-0 down yesterday inside 6 minutes against Fulham. It's a London derby, but it's not a fiercely contested London derby. Their goalkeeper, Vicario, was guilty of at least one dreadful error. and the fans booed him. And, you know, this happens at football. It's happened for decades and decades. And afterwards, Thomas Frank, the manager, said, these can't be real football fans. Get behind your players. Now, he may think that, the player may think that, lots of fans inside the stadium may think that. But you know what I always say, when a manager goes from a smaller club to a bigger club, we always talk about stats. We always talk about the impact he's going to have on the dressing room. One thing that isn't discussed enough is pressure. And I think that you have to understand, you have to have the self-awareness to understand where you are, where you come from. You do not bite the hand that feeds you. Some of these people at Tottenham at that stadium have paid $1,500, $2,000 for a season ticket. They have every right to feel frustrated. Look, obviously abuse can go beyond the pale, of course it can, but if we, as we understand it to be, it was criticism, it was frustration because you've gone 2-0 down at home, you've had a wretched week, you've lost the North London derby last Sunday.
They haven't won a domestic fixture for a month, have they?
That's right, you're absolutely right. It's good knowledge, that.
Thank you.
You don't need me soon.
Oh, no, we always need it.
No, but they lost it. They conceded 5 in Paris in the week, and yesterday a poor defeat. I mean, Fulham have not exactly been in sizzling form. For them to go to Tottenham, where they don't have a great record, to win was poor. Some fantastic football today as well. Chelsea-Arsenal, the standout fixture, 4:30 at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal can go 9 points clear. We don't know if Cole Palmer's going to play, whether he's recovered from that stub toe or not. I stubbed my toe once. It really hurt.
Yeah, it does hurt.
It really hurt, and I can imagine how on the left foot, if that's the one you're used to striking the ball into the net with, it can be problematic. I've shown you that I'm doing a quick wrap-up now because we've only got 3 minutes, but I showed you the pink ball earlier on. A blow for England as well. Mark Wood not available for this second test, but he wasn't exactly in fantastic form in the first. Having been given that boost yesterday, Pat Cummings and Josh Hazlewood obviously being out for the second test. Let's hope England can turn it round on Thursday, and at least in Brisbane in the day-night game, just claw back some pride.
Hope so. Aidan, thank you very much indeed.
Yes, indeed, yeah. OK, have a good Sunday. You're not doing the washing today, are you?
Someone else will be doing it.
Oh, how nice. That's best of all. OK, now, do stay with us. Still to come, we'll be going looking through some of the top stories in the newspapers with Emma and Lewis. First of all, though, if you're in search of a bit of holiday sun, here's the forecast for the top European destinations.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello there, and this is your holiday forecast from the Met Office. It's a little bit changeable across Europe over the next week or so. We do have a few showers across the Canary Islands to begin with, but some nice bright sunshine for Spain, maybe just feeling a little bit cooler than normal here. For northern Italy, we do have some heavier showers to begin with, and we do have some nice bright sunnier spells for Greece. Now, it does remain a bit unchangeable over the next few days, but for Tenerife, the temperatures are slowly on the rise.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's very scary the way that it's heading. I think AI has so many fantastic opportunities, but that when you remove the human out of it, nasty things can happen. And I think young people are being attracted to it because it's 24 availability, there's no judgment, so there's no embarrassment, and they're getting instant responses. So when you're removing the human out of the room, things go wrong.
Is this because adults have pushed this through? We just saw Keir Starmer there on a lectern on one of the many occasions where he's wanging on about how fantastic AI is and it's going to be in all the schools, it's going to transform everything. There's never anybody in the room that puts their hand up and goes, hang on a minute, have you thought this through? Have you actually thought about the negative consequences of this? We don't do that when it comes to technology, do we? We just push it through, Colin.
We are. We're literally just pushing it through. So I think on one hand, for having AI as a companion in a school, it's fantastic because then no child technically is getting left behind because it's like a personal tutor. But no one's putting in those guardrails to say, hang on a sec, when something goes wrong, how are we alerting someone? Who do we alert? And then what do we do about it? No one's actually asking those questions. And we're moving at such a fast pace. We are sprinting when really we should be walking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about teenagers relying on AI now. You'll be seeing it, Colin. I mean, you're using. I have started to use it. I'm not denying it. I'm not a complete Luddite. I will go on if I want to come up with something creative, rather than starting with a blank page. I will go on to one of the AI sites and just ask some questions. And sometimes it just kicks you off with your creativity, or gives you some ideas which you can. But I am watching adults as well.
GB News, the People's Channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
At 8:46, we're looking through the papers for the last time today with the writer and broadcaster Lewis Oakley and the author and political commentator Emma Wolfe. Emma, let's have a look at the Sunday Telegraph, because this is not going to go away.
It's not.
This indication that the Prime Minister signed off on the black hole tax rising bill when there wasn't a black hole.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know Rachel Reeves is in a really precarious position. But I think what's even more alarming for Keir Starmer over his cornflakes this morning will be confirmation, really, from Number 10 that he was aware. He was aware of the OBR report. He was aware that there was no black hole in the public finances, and that he was aware of Rachel Reeves' speech in which she claimed that, the black hole meant that she had to raise taxes. And those two are so inextricably linked. It's not just a Chancellor or a Prime Minister and his Chancellor. It's that they are very, very kind of inextricably tied. So I think the next few days are going to be very, very edgy for both of them.
Well, A, not surprised that he knew. B, I think this almost makes her position, to me, stronger, because he knows if she goes over this, then he has to go over it. So he's going to do everything to sort of keep her safe and protect her. The only thing I thought that was very interesting in the budget, because I think there's been more collaboration between a Prime Minister and the Chancellor over this budget that they just had than sort of any I can remember. But then in the budget, when she delivered it, she kept talking about my choices. These are my choices, my choices. So I don't know if those words will come back to haunt her if they do actually get her out over this.
It's interesting. She said the same when we spoke to the morning after. It was all about, this is my budget.
Yeah. Which we all know it's not.
But isn't that just the way that is sort of parliamentary convention? It's the way they do it, like they're standing around with a red box that has really nothing.
It just felt like it had more emphasis, that she was really trying to own this. And, could you argue maybe Keir Starmer said you better take full responsibility for this?
I also think it's about asserting her authority after, sobbing in the Commons and stuff. I think she felt weakened. She bangs on about being a woman, so maybe she wants to come across as a very strong woman.
But I think sad that, I don't feel that there is as much fire behind this issue as there maybe should be. It's just sort of, another lie.
Well,
whatever.
I think partly because there'll be a way around it.
There'll be a way around it.
There'll be a way around it where they can say, well, actually, we didn't technically do X, Y and Z. There will be a bit of wiggle room on it.
Well, I mean, just look at the next story we were going to look at, Emma, in the Times front page about David Lammy, who's going to announce no jury trials, which wasn't in the manifesto.
Wasn't in the manifesto.
And it's a major change.
It is, and there's something, and David Lammy, this came out on last Wednesday, he'd sort of leaked, it was a Ministry of Justice report that's been leaked, his plans, and we don't know whether it's going to come to fruition. And he made the point, there is no right to a jury trial, but there's something fundamentally British about feeling that we, the bedrock of British justice is that we are judged by, 12 good men and true, sort of our peers, that we are judged by our peers.
We think that.
And it's not the case.
It's not the case, because the vast majority of people, of course, never get any further than a magistrate's court, where there is no jury.
No, there isn't.
So it's about, in a way, it's about extending the number of people who go to a magistrate instead of a Crown Court.
I haven't felt that backlash fiercely on this. People are very questioning it, but I think people understand that there's an issue and that we need to find a way to deal with it. I would personally like us to explore every other option before we look at this. And I would just say, I think if the shoe was on the other foot, if we had a reform government and they said we'll do away with jury trials, Labour would be doing absolute backflips.
Yeah, but I think we need to remember, as Stephen says, this was not in the manifesto.
Yeah.
This has been leaked, and actually it won't do what it sets out to do.
No.
You know, legal experts have said this isn't the way. There is a huge backlog, nearly 80,000 Crown Court backlog, but this isn't the way to tackle it. I don't know if you guys have served on a jury. I've served on a jury.
Have you?
They are Southwark Crown Court. They are amazingly inefficient. You spend hours in a day. You're sitting from, and it was a wonder. It was a privilege to do it, and it's a really important thing, I think, as citizens, that we do. People take it really, really seriously when they sit on a jury. It is kind of interesting to see the process. But actually, you sit for maybe an hour or two, then the judge will, you know, you don't get in there until about 10 or 11. You sit for maybe an hour in the morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon. You finish by about 4, but 3 or 4 o'clock. So that it's about efficiency. It's not about getting rid of jury trials. It's about courts sitting more often and getting through those cases.
Over 80,000 cases waiting for Crown Court. Isn't this just going to cause an enormous backlog for Magistrates' Court?
Exactly.
It happens a lot faster.
What's really interesting about this, though, is serving judges are not allowed to talk directly to journalists and the press, but the way they're sort of getting around it by sort of making digs at this idea when they're giving judgments. I think that there's one quote in the paper of, like, hopefully as you've all served on a jury now, you see the benefit of it. And then there's sort of judges that aren't serving anymore that have actually come out and gone straight to the press and said, like, no, we don't think that this will work.
I mean, I have to say, I do think that my concern with it is it the slippery slope?
Exactly. Is it a slippery slope? And also, I think, even more fundamentally, how do we get through the cases of things like, you know, rape and things that are notoriously, you know, the huge backlog and not...
Well, I think that's David Lammy's talking line, that we need to get to the rape cases, so
rape,
we have
murder
to do
and manslaughter
this. Yeah.
would still be
But as you say, if you were sat in the jury box by 9 in the morning, and you had an hour for lunch, and you kept going until 5 at night, we'd get through it all an awful lot.
We would get through it all.
That'd be better for victims as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It really is a very inefficient system.
Yeah. Should we have a look at? This is a great one. If you're in Greggs, you're going to buy less if you're listening to Phil Collins.
Yeah, so they've done a study of 134 Greggs shoppers, and what they basically found is if you have got rock or pop music going on, you won't spend as much as if you've got classical music. You actually will spend a little bit more, which is very interesting. I mean, I don't like to think that they've manipulated me that much, although I've always found this kind of work very interesting, of where you place certain items and colours you use and sounds you have played to encourage.
The fact that they pump out the fresh bread smells near the front of a shop.
But it's interesting about the music, because I remember doing a report once on the way corner shops often have hordes of young men just hanging around on the corner, not knowing, causing a bit of a nuisance and not having anything to do except go in and buy drink every so often and a packet of crisps. The way to get them away from your corner shop is to play classical music.
That's really
in the shop and on the speaker outside, because it just makes them go, because they just don't want to listen to classical music.
No,
that's very interesting.
It's a win-win then. It's a win-win.
It's an easy way.
Gets rid of the ones you don't want, the ones you do go in, spend more money.
Spend more money. I don't think I've ever been into a Greggs.
No, not me.
There's one opposite our office now, and I'm in there all the time.
They have like a version of posh Greggs now. You see the posh Greggs in posh areas. Yeah, absolutely.
There's always queues out of Greggs. But you can't beat a hot sausage roll.
But apparently you are more likely
to buy
it if you're listening to,
I'm a vegetarian, so you can.
Beethoven.
But we reviewed, a couple of years ago, on the breakfast show, we reviewed the veggie
versions.
The Greggy veggie version.
Very good.
Are they good?
All right, we're out of time. Thank you both very much indeed.
Here's the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today at least, we have some nice bright sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the big one. Your chance to win a whopping £85,000 in tax-free cash. The largest cash prize we've given away to date. That's like over £7,000 a month extra in your bank account each month for 12 whole months. That's a year of yes. Yes to holidays, yes to treats, yes to shopping trips, yes to home improvements. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Britain's Newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
Flossie, how do you think your peers would react if, from now on, they were never, ever allowed to bring their phone into school?
Well, I think the big thing is really, I mean, I went to school yesterday after obviously doing BBC News, and surprisingly to me, all of my friends were saying, look, we completely agree with you, you're so totally doing the right thing. Obviously, it is a very sensitive topic. You know, obviously I'm going to have people saying, stop what you're doing.
Don't take my phone away from me.
I would hate myself if I was in primary, secondary school. But realistically, the thing is, now I'm coming to realise I really wish I just didn't have a phone. I am addicted to my phone now, I will admit that. I really wish I wasn't. So hopefully as well, if phones are banned in secondary schools, parents usually buy them for secondary school because everyone gets them. So hopefully that will stagger, you know, when parents buy their kids' phones, which may break, you know, the level of addiction. Because I feel like if I didn't have a phone, I really wish I didn't, because, you know, I keep saying to myself, where would I be now if I didn't have a phone?
You said that people are now talking to each other on the bus because your school has moved to a stricter ban.
So my school is now completely smartphone free on anywhere where the school has a duty of care. So yeah, it was really surprising to see kids, you know, talking and chatting rather than
because normally
just
they would
being on
text
their
each other
phones.
or they'd be on
staring at their phone.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, I do hope you're very successful because it's such an important campaign. Yeah. Will or Ewing and Flossie, thank you so much. Yeah.
Why can't they just take a stand? They've done it in Australia.
It might help with the politics.
They've done it in Australia.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good morning to you. It's crunch time for the Prime Minister as he attempts to rescue the Chancellor's budget and tackle the cost of living crisis.
And this follows revelations that Sir Keir Starmer signed off on Rachel Reeves's tax-raising budget, despite them both then knowing that there had indeed been a positive forecast from the OBR, no black hole.
Well, pressure is now mounting on the Chancellor, once again, you have to say, to resign.
Breaking news now from America. 4 people have died and 10 others injured after a mass shooting at a child's birthday party in California. The police are saying that the suspect is still at large.
Christmas really is nearly upon us. Today marks Advent Sunday, the start of the season when Christians prepare to celebrate the birth of Christ. And Anna Riley is at a church in Selby.
Trying to make St Andrew's Day just as big as St Patrick's Day and have everyone celebrating across the country.
And let's raise a drum to St Andrew's Day. Scotland is celebrating its patron saint with a full day of singing, dancing and maybe a wee whiskey or two.
Hello there. It's going to be a nice and bright end towards the weekend, but as we head into the new working week, things will start to turn a little bit more unsettled. Join me for all the latest.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
And I'm Anne Diamond, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Oh, go on.
Well, I was going to say, we were talking about the fact that so many village and town church clocks or clocks
aren't working.
Well, so many people have been in touch, thank you awfully, to say that at least they're right twice a day.
Ah, well, this is true. This is true.
Maybe it's better than being constantly slow or constantly getting the time wrong.
It's lovely to have them working.
It's a shame, though, isn't it?
The problem is, once they properly break down, then it costs an awful lot of money.
So, as you were saying, it's maintenance that is the
maintenance
key.
needs to be done. So it's not a problem for now, actually. It's a problem for years gone by.
Yeah.
But it should be sorted out. Yeah. Anyway, and this won't be on the minds of the Prime Minister or the Chancellor today. They've got enough to deal with, frankly. What a week of politics it has been with that budget, which a lot of people were happy about, of course, and then the fallout since and all this OBR report, forecast stuff. Was there a black hole? Wasn't there a black hole? Were we conned? Were we not conned? Who knew about it?
And so many commentators, particularly in the press this morning, as you can imagine, calling for Rachel Reeves to resign, certainly calling for Keir Starmer to resign as well.
Would that even happen? Could it happen? I mean, what a complete nightmare
And sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for, because what would you get instead?
Well, this is it. Anyway, ahead of her show at 9:30 this morning, where all this will be delved into, Camilla Tominey joins us from Westminster now. Morning, Camilla. What a mess.
What a mess, honestly. So in answer to your question, have the public been conned? Well, yes, they have, because the Chancellor said that there was a £30 billion black hole in her finances, when in fact she knew before she gave that doomsday speech on November the 4th, that actually she had more than £4 billion worth of fiscal headroom. Now, I've got James Murray, who is the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, coming on the show. It should be noted, by the way, that once again the Chancellor has snubbed GB News. I can't imagine for 1 minute what she's afraid of. Some tough questioning from me, no doubt. I've been doing this show for nearly 3 years, and such is the contempt in which clearly the government holds GB News viewers and indeed listeners that the Chancellor has never appeared on my show, and neither has the Prime Minister. However, we shall ask James Murray what his justifications are for what appears to be not just a con, but a lie. The public have been misled, Parliament's been misled, and crucially, the markets have been misled when it comes to why the Chancellor has decided to slap us all with £26 billion worth of taxes. We do also have to lean into the welfare question. A very interesting report from the Centre for Social Justice today saying that effectively, if you're a family of 5, you need to earn 71 grand to compete with a family on welfare and benefits. The bill due to go up by 70 billion to a staggering 403 billion by the end of this Parliament. So that's another lie that has been revealed by this budget. Labour aren't cutting the welfare bill at all. In fact, it's going up. So we should be grilling James Murray. Also get the response from Kemi Badenoch, the opposition leader. She was criticised in the week for going in too hard on the Chancellor. The Chancellor herself this morning has suggested that she isn't across the forensic detail of the budget. But be interesting to hear the Tory response to claims that both the Chancellor and indeed the Prime Minister should go. Mel Stride has written to the Financial Conduct Authority, so Mel Stride's the Shadow Chancellor, to suggest that the Chancellor should be investigated. And it's been pointed out by one newspaper that if the FCA did find the Chancellor had misled the markets, that they can impose not just unlimited fines, but a custodial sentence.
I mean, heck, yeah, if there were fines, we'd end up paying for them ourselves, wouldn't we? I mean, it's interesting with Kemi Badenoch, though, because there has been criticism from some, as you say, about her response to the budget on Wednesday. There's an awful lot of people, and including, it's reflected a little bit, at least in the polls, saying, well, at last, here she is, she's come out fighting.
Yeah, and I think Kemi Badenoch's response to those on the left criticising her for being too nasty would be to remind them all of the times that she's been described as a coconut and an Uncle Tom simply for being a black woman who happens to be right-wing. I'm also going to be speaking to Reform UK's Deputy Leader, Richard Tice. Let's get his response to the budget. This is a man who, along with Zia Youssef, wants to be the next Chancellor under Nigel Farage. Of course, I'm also going to be speaking to Mr Tice about Nathan Gill being imprisoned for 10 years for taking Russian bribes and, indeed, those racism allegations against his leader, Nigel Farage. Guess what? We've got a lesser-spotted Liberal Democrat on the show. Although the Chancellor has snubbed us, Daisy Cooper's coming on, so we'll hear the Lib Dems' response to all of these matters. And, crucially, we'll be talking to a leading businessman, Tim Martin, of Wetherspoons fame, is going to be speaking to us later in the show. Really intrigued to get his response to the budget on the ground. How has this affected businesses? What's the impact of the minimum wage? The last time the Chancellor put it up, youth unemployment shot up. Is it now affordable to employ anyone aged 18 to 20, and what's the consequence? There's a big row going on about what the budget has done to business rates. And we know already, don't we, the hospitality sector is on its knees and alcohol duty's gone up again. So we'll be really intrigued to hear what Tim Martin's got to say about all that.
I'll tell you what, when you've got Tim on, you want to ask him about this, the new one that New Wetherspoons are opening at Alicante Airport.
Oh, are they?
They're opening a Wetherspoons at Alicante Airport for all us poor Brits when we're heading back from the Costa Blanca, so we can have a pint and a pie on before we go home.
Well, that sounds lucrative because it's only at an airport that you even countenance the idea of having a pint at, say, 9 a.m.
Yes,
apparently, when you're in an airport, all sense goes out the window and you can just drink at any time of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, well, quite right. Well, I say quite right. I don't even drink.
Yeah, I know.
I used to
But
like
that's when you know
whiskey.
you're on holiday, and when you arrive at Alicante Airport is where you think, yeah, why not, you know?
Yeah, quite right. Yeah,
Well, maybe the timing of the show is good today because we've got James Murray on at the beginning, Tim Martin on at the end, and perhaps the Chief Secretary to the Treasury might want to head to a Wetherspoons after this.
Yeah, I think you might all need a drink afterwards. Camilla, we look forward to seeing you. Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah. Actually, if you've got an opinion about any of that before we hear from the politicians themselves, just a reminder, if for friends of GB News, you can vote in today's You Decide poll by scanning the QR code now, and we'll try and keep it up just for long enough for you to get your phone out and actually activate that, because a lot of people have been getting in touch saying, you don't give us long enough.
Oh.
So we'll keep that up for a little minute.
Yeah, but if you don't scan it, just go to gbnews.com.
OK.
And then you can find it there.
So the all-important question is, would reversing the tax rises restore your faith in this budget? The numbers are playing around a bit, but they're more or less staying in the same direction. 5% saying yes, 95% saying no.
Yeah, it's like the damage is sort of done, really. Anyway, sticking with politics, a new political force is taking shape. As your party... Was it been officially announced it's called Your Party now?
I don't know. Think so.
Anyway, founded by former Labour MPs Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana, is holding this weekend its inaugural conference.
Yes, with more than 600,000 members already signed up. The meeting is going to set the party's direction.
Well, let's talk to the political editor at Times Radio, Anna Mihailova. who joins us now. I mean, heck, we can laugh, really, but, I mean, even one of the founder members didn't turn up to the first day yesterday.
Well, yes, so Zara Sultana has boycotted it. She boycotted the first day. She is actually due to speak today at an address conference. So we're basically waiting to see if she reverses her boycott or because the reason she boycotted it was she accused the party of purging her allies and purging people unfairly. So, I mean, I think to give you a flavour, we're one day into the inaugural conference and there are already debates about purges. It's not going swimmingly well, I think we can say.
Well, it's not. I mean, can anyone really... I know that we said there are 600,000 members now signed up, but how can you take a party seriously if one of its founder members boycotts the first day of their first meeting like this, first conference, and the whole thing seems to be in such terrible disarray?
Exactly. I mean, the counterpoint, the people defending it say that is just politics, that is part of this process of sort of organically from the grassroots trying to create a new party, and that debate and disagreement is natural. However, on the other side of that is, well, Zara Sultana herself and lots of other people who say that all they're doing at the moment, and the people around Jeremy Corbyn, all they're doing is importing the old factionalism of the Labour Party, which so many of them hated, and essentially doing the same thing here. So there've been privately lots of concerns about some of the team around Corbyn being, some...
Oh, she's gone.
We've lost Anna.
They've cut her off.
Yes, it's a plot.
Well, I'll tell you what is interesting is one of the things they're debating is about leadership. Not only who should be leader, but whether there should be a single leader, whether there should be co-leadership. Zara Sultana... Oh, is she still there? Can she hear us? Anna Mehrdlova. I was just saying, one of the things about leadership, Zara Sultana's pushing for a sort of collective leadership. I mean, that would be disastrous, wouldn't it?
So she's saying that it should either be two leaders, so her and Corbyn, I think, is her idea, or this collective model. But the two-leader model has been discarded. So the vote today will be whether it will be one leader, and that could either be Corbyn or Zara Sultana personally, or this collective model where effectively people who are not the MPs lead it. And yes, I mean, there are lots of questions about how that would work. And the other thing that you asked the question about the party name, they will also vote on the party name today and finally decide. But your party continues to be ahead. So the placeholder name seems to be the front runner at the moment.
Yeah. All right. Lovely. Anna, thanks very much indeed. Enjoy the day.
What a day of confusion it's going to be.
It sounds like it's going to be a very confusing day, but, you know.
OK, let's move on to this breaking news from America, which, because America's in the middle of the night, there may not be further news for a few hours now, but so far all we know is that 4 people have died and 10 others have been badly injured, apparently, following a shooting at a child's birthday party in Northern California.
The Sheriff's Office said the victims include both adults and children.
And according to the police, the suspect is still at large. Officers are yet to disclose the attacker's identity and the motive is unclear.
Yeah, the governor is across all of this, of course. As you would imagine, something like this is being kept up to date. And he's called it a horrific incident, which clearly it is. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, we just don't have enough details. But a child's birthday party and children are amongst the victims. So we presume they mean some of the fatalities in this. Anyway, we'll keep you up to date as we get more details through.
OK, it's 13 minutes past 9. Now, you can't avoid it, even if you wanted to, but we don't, do we?
No.
Let the countdown to Christmas now begin. Anna Riley, our reporter, is at a church in Selby. And let's see what's going on there.
Yes,
Anna.
It's the first Sunday of Advent. People are feeling festive, putting the trees up. And here at King's Church in Selby, they've put on an interactive nativity display. Find out more after the break.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests.
you. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
It's 9:17. If you're heading to church this morning, one of the nice things about the service today is that you will be lighting the first of your Advent candles, marking the start of the Christmas season.
Yes, our GB News Yorkshire and Humber reporter Anna Riley is live at the moment, I think, in Selby at a local church nativity scene. Hi there, Anna. Who have you got with you?
Good morning. Yes, we're here at the King's Church in Selby, where rehearsals are in full swing today for hundreds of children coming to the church next week to get involved in their Christmas experience, this interactive nativity display. I'm delighted to be joined by the pastor of the church, Dave Ward. Dave, just tell us about this experience. It's in its 10th year now.
That's right, yes. Well, traditionally we've gone into a lot of schools and done various things with them throughout the year. And obviously Christmas is such a big event. We've found that sadly the message of Christmas has been lost somewhat in a number of schools now. And so we thought that we would invite the schools to us. And so we do this walk-through nativity. This year there's 6 scenes and the children walk around. It's very interactive. The staff love it because it fits in exactly with the curriculum. And so everybody's happy as regards that. And it just gives this wonderful message of Christmas, really.
What is the message of Christmas from the church?
Well, this year we're looking particularly, because there's a number of messages. The central message that we're looking at this Christmas is that it's about love, joy, peace and hope, which obviously are pertinent to all families now. And so whilst we have a wonderful celebration of Christmas, it's obvious that, you know, for some families it's a very difficult time as well. And so it offers that message, you know, which is just full of hope, really, and love. And the fact that Jesus came out of the glory of heaven, as the Bible describes it, to come and live amongst us, it changes not just our understanding of Christmas, but for me personally, it changed my whole lifestyle, really. And so it does make a big impact on people. And I think even for the staff, when they hear the message again, it might be a while since the staff have even heard the message, it really is touching for them. It often is quite an emotional moment. So it's very, very good, yeah.
And there's a lot of effort that's been put into this. So we can see behind us a lot of paintings gone on, a lot of crafting, and members of the church as well dressing up as Mary, Joseph, the three wise men.
Yeah, that's right. And so we do all of it ourselves with the help of some local businesses. So the whole of the set that you can see now is made out of cardboard effectively, which a local company donates to us. And yeah, then the church get together. So we had 20 people here on Wednesday morning painting all the scenes. And it really just brings everybody together, and we've got 8 local schools that are really looking forward to come. And we could actually book so many more people in than that, but it's just we've got just one small time frame. And so, yeah, they're the fortunate ones that are able to come and walk through.
And around Christmas time, maybe if people aren't traditionally religious, they still do visit church. Do you think it is something of a resurgence that you're seeing at all?
Yeah, absolutely. The membership and the number of people that are visiting us here in King's Church in Selby has just, I would say, doubled in the last 18 months. And so people are actually seeming to be searching, you know, for truth in what is very difficult times, really. And obviously, politically, things are very, very difficult, and people decide to, you know, to look to traditional values that they may have experienced, you know, when there was a child, and yet, you know, there's a real resurgence, as you say, to people who are really wanting to find out about what is it in church, and often why are church people so happy when things, you know, around and about are so difficult. And so we get a lot of responses from things like that. And yeah, people seem to really be flooding back into churches.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you for having us. And people in Selby can come throughout this morning, have a walk through themselves, look at this scene, and we'll be here this afternoon as well.
Lovely stuff, Anna. Thank you very much indeed. And I think it's great to get kids involved in all of this.
It's exciting for them.
It is exciting.
It's exciting for everybody.
Yeah, and it's the hope candle they're lighting today.
That's the first Advent candle.
Yeah, the first one is hope.
Because today is the first Sunday of Advent.
Anyway, look, let's move away from all that just for a moment, because we'll tell you about our biggest ever Great British Giveaway cash prize. It's £85,000. It could be yours in the new year. Here's how.
It's the greatest cash prize of the Great British Giveaway so far. A simply stunning £85,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like, making 2026 your greatest year to date. That could get you that brand new car, extend and improve your home, take you away on that bucket list holiday, or just give you some peace of mind over the coming months. For a chance to win £85,000 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB18 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 30th of January. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
And very good luck with that, because wouldn't that make a difference to next year for you?
Oh, yes, wouldn't it just? Right, that is it from us. Have a great day. Up next, it's the Camilla Tominey Show.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning. This is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. It's going to be a quite bright and cool last day of November, but as we head into winter, it is going to start to turn a lot more unsettled as we start December. But for today at least, we have some nice bright sunny spells across much of the UK. It will be quite a chilly start across Scotland, maybe some icy patches here, and maybe just a few odd showers just drifting in towards the western coast as well. But otherwise, a much more settled day than what we saw at the first half of the weekend. Some nice sunshine, but it will feel rather chilly despite that sun. Much of the temperatures not really getting any higher than those mid-single figures, maybe just a little bit milder across the southwest. But all eyes then turn towards this band of rain that is starting to move in from the west. We will start to see that cloud drifting in towards the west country through the evening. But clearer skies remain across the southeast, but then you'll see this rain moving in towards Northern Ireland through the early part of the evening and just slowly starting to drift in towards western Scotland as well. But further towards the east, it will be a cold end towards Sunday. Temperatures here may even struggle to get above freezing to end Sunday as well. Like I said, this band of rain will slowly start to move its way eastwards through the evening period and overnight, and we do have some weather warnings in force to start December. So we have yellow warnings across the southwest and the northwest, but we have this amber warning across the southern part of Wales as well. So expect some flooding. There is going to be disruption to travel as well, so please do take care if you are looking to travel around first thing on Monday morning. But with this rain, it is going to be a windy day as well. Those strong winds coming up from the southwest. We could even again see some coastal gales across the west country coast as well. But that rain is still going to remain pretty strong through much of the day, but temperatures possibly just a couple of degrees above what we saw on Sunday.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. We're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
I think a lot of you at home are going to be quite annoyed with this. Now, Tesco, the big supermarket chain, appears to have got rid of the famous Christmas trees, instead renaming them evergreen
trees.
Evergreen
There's
trees.
the evergreen tree.
Here we are. So if you're listening on the radio, these are pictures of their boxes of artificial Christmas trees without the word Christmas on them at all, instead calling them evergreen trees. There are still a number of Christmas trees available called Christmas trees.
Christmas trees,
but I think it has clearly annoyed quite a lot of people. Why do you call them evergreen trees? Can't you just call them Christmas?
Just call them Christmas trees. I call them Christmas trees even outside of the time of Christmas. If they look like a Christmas tree, I call them a Christmas tree, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And the Conservative leader of the London Assembly, Susan Hall, she's told The Telegraph, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas tree. People don't tend to put up green plastic fir trees for any other reason. It's all stupid nonsense about offending other people and other religions. Well, below that, this is supposed to be a Christian country. We have Christmas. Let's celebrate it, says Susan Hall.
Actually, other religions are not offended by the celebration of Christmas in a Christian country. You speak to Hindus and Buddhists and the vast majority of Muslims, they're not in the slightest bit bothered and actually will join in those celebrations as well. It doesn't offend them. But what you've got are marketing divisions within these big companies where you've got Tarquin and Tabitha who feel that we must, you know, do what we can do to not offend the great British public. When the great British public are the ones that are actually buying the product and they're not in the slightest bit offended.
Can I just say it offends me that we've got Christmas already and it's not December.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
All too often, people will be sitting at home watching a press conference live and they'll hear loads of questions being asked and they'll be thinking, that's not my question, that's not my concern.
We don't care whose feathers we ruffle. We ask the questions that you want answering.
You're all standing on the street protesting and want to have an open discussion.
My name's Patrick Christie's. I do a show for GB News in the UK. Is it possible to talk to you quickly?
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, this is the best view ever of Whitehall, looking out across all the tractor drivers of England who've come together to make their point.
Hello, so as you can see, I'm here in Westminster as the protest begins.
Yes, I'm very much in the thick of it.
Look, we're challenging narratives here at GB News, and that's what sets us apart.
Good morning and welcome.